season. Just go to onepeloton.com or visit them at 520 Michigan Avenue, Oak Brook Center, and Westfield Old Orchard. AM 560 news time is 5:04. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
The world is a dangerous place. Often, it's a very ugly place, and you come here to try to help make sense of it all. We give you the latest news, help you understand what it means and why it's important. But there are bigger questions you need answered about life and death, faith and hope. And that's where our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life, comes in. When you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions, give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com.
Hugs at the arrival gate.
Hey, I missed you so much.
Seeing your best bud for the first time in a long time. Family and friends around the table. At Lincoln, we know the holidays are filled with moments like these, when we realize that the greatest wish of all is one that brings us together. In that spirit, we invite you into our home during the Lincoln Wishlist event, where not coincidentally, we're making wishes come true with exceptional offers on the Lincoln family of luxury vehicles. The Lincoln Continental, the MKZ, the MKC, the new Nautilus, and the iconic Navigator. The Lincoln Wishlist event, because wishes really do come true at your Lincoln dealer.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand With Israel tour through the land of Israel in December of 2019. Come with me to get firsthand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. We'll learn about the geopolitical, economic, and spiritual dynamics of one of the most fascinating places on earth. And you'll share experiences that will change how you view the world. Walk the ancient temple steps, touch the Western Wall, sail on the Sea of Galilee, pray on the Mount of Beatitudes. The list goes on. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your chance. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose. The 10-day Stand With Israel tour, December 2019.
Purchase your travel experience at 560theanswer.com/Israel. Be sure to choose AM 560 when you register. That's 560theanswer.com/Israel.
Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals can post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire.
At 5:07 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
On Chicago's north side, CTA Red Line trains not stopping at Berwyn, Lawrence Station. To a power outage in those areas, shuttle buses are available. Rollover crash reported on Southport at Diversey. Northbound I-65 may have a little residual congestion around Ridge Road. There was an earlier vehicle fire. It's all cleared now. The lanes are open. No delays to report on the Eden, Kennedy, the Eisenhower, or the Stevenson. Outbound Ryan at Roosevelt. There's a large pothole reported on the ramp. This is from Roosevelt to the outbound Ryan. So IDOT has people fixing that later today. About Bishop Ford, mild delays Cottage Grove to Michigan Avenue. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's Steve Williams.
Today, cloudy, breezy, and cooler. Flurries late this afternoon, the high 42. A few flurries this evening, then cloudy and cold tonight, low 25. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies. Daytime high tomorrow at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Chicago's Morning Answer. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, filling in again today for Dan and Amy. Thank you very much for being with us. We're excited to be back with you. As we noted yesterday, Joe and I, in our normal day jobs, work with the Illinois Policy Institute. And again, we'll remind you that the views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this program this morning do not necessarily represent those of the Illinois Policy Institute or the National Football League. Thank you for viewing.
But they should be yours.
There are opinions. They should be yours. Whole lot to talk about on the program today. We're going to speak with State Representative Alan Skillicorn a little bit later. Illinois is considering raising gas taxes. Governor-elect J.B. Pritzker has also floated the idea of a vehicle miles traveled tax, which would basically tax you for every mile that you drive. All of this geared towards, well, we need infrastructure spending. That money has to come from somewhere, and despite the fact that Illinoisans already pay some of the highest gas taxes in the country, as we discussed yesterday with our Illinois Policy Institute colleague Vincent Caruso, they're considering raising them yet again. So we'll discuss that with Representative Skillicorn later in the program. Also, we'll discuss what is going on in Syria, what is going on with President Trump's decision to withdraw troops from that region, whether or not he is also going to continue withdrawing troops from other locations in the Middle East, what all of that means, if it means that it's going to get worse over there. I mean, I don't know. They've only been fighting in that region for a few thousand years, so I don't know. Can it get worse? Maybe.
Or, I mean, they're due
for
it to get better. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So we'll discuss that with Senior VP of the Haim Solomon Center, Jonathan Greenberg. And then Bryce Hill, one of our Illinois Policy Institute colleagues, is going to join us to discuss the outmigration crisis in Illinois. Some 45,000 people left Illinois last year, way more people leaving than come here. What does all of that mean? Is there any hope for the state, or do you need to go find a really good real estate agent right now? I mean, probably not a bad idea to just at least talk to someone.
Mm-hmm. Keep your options open.
So all that coming up later in the program. Looking forward to talking about that with you and having you share your thoughts on it with us. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, or text DA to 64636 to be a part of the program. Joe, we're coming up on New Year's Eve. Excited?
Yes, we are. I mean, and New Year's Eve is kind of an overrated holiday. It's just like changing the calendar to a new month. I don't really care. There's a new year attached to it.
Is this just you continue to grow older and more jaded, and New Year's Eve isn't as exciting for you anymore?
Yeah, because when you're little, it's like you get to stay up till after midnight, 1 or 2 in the morning, and it's fun, it's neat, it's different. Now it's just like it's any other day. It just happens this year to be getting drunk on a Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
Monday,
right.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I agree. I think I agree with you. It's an overrated holiday.
And then there's like hype about going out, and then like spending all this money on these big deals and stuff. It's just
none of those ever have struck me as a good value.
No,
I did
never.
one again when I was much younger, where I think we went to Blue Chicago, which is a blues bar in the city, which was
is that how
fun.
it got its name?
I think so.
Blue.
That's
It just
yeah.
took the
It's well, I mean, the building was also painted blue, so I don't know. It may have
so you
been
really
like
don't
they
know.
just who's to say? Who is to say? I remember it being fun, but not the kind of thing that I'm leaping to do again. Not just, as we talked about yesterday morning, the fact that I also have children, which means that, as I mentioned yesterday, who wake up incredibly early, I have no desire to stay up to midnight no matter what.
Oh yeah, they're used to being up at 4. It's just not because
Right.
they're staying up late.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It's not particularly enjoyable. So yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think it's an overrated holiday. Where do you think it actually ranks in like the hierarchy of holidays throughout the year?
I think I would cushion it right in between. I would say maybe in between Flag Day and All Saints Day.
Oh,
right there in the middle.
It's
not showing off and not falling behind, right in the meaty part of the curve.
It's a kind of a no real a replacement level holiday.
Yeah, at best.
Yeah, replacement level.
I
holiday.
think the ideal New Year's Eve for me would be just staying home watching college football,
Mhm.
not being around crowds. Still having a few drinks, a drink or 3, but
the crowd thing is a big one for me as well.
I can't stand crowds.
I don't see the appeal in being part of the New Year's Eve celebration in like New York City. Of standing out there in what is almost certainly going to be terrible weather for hours on end, waiting for a gigantic light bulb to descend from a pole high above Times Square.
And on top of that, the only thing, I mean, why would you ever want to be in a crowd when you can be alone? I don't understand that. But the only thing more baffling is then like wanting to make that appointment television to watch other people in a crowd. That one I don't really connect with either. I'm not big on the whole ball dropping. Maybe I'll tune in at like 11:59, just out of
obligation.
Pressure.
Yeah,
it's obligatory.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to watch that is going to count down to midnight? Assuming you will be up at that time to watch it count down to midnight.
Watch my phone change from.
I mean, you could count down yourself. Also, because and maybe this is nostalgia and it was never really as good as we remember in the same way that, I have recommended to people because now that I have kids and I have gone back and tried to be like, hey, these are some of the TV programs I liked when I was a child. We should watch them. And then when you watch them as an adult and you realize, wow, they were really bad. Mm-hmm. Maybe the hosting of these programs was never all that good in the first place, but dear Lord, it is intolerable now.
Hosting a holiday is a weird gig to begin with.
It is.
It's just not necessary. I think that's where we were talking at length yesterday about things that are going to disappear. And in terms of programming, I got to imagine that's going to go the way of the dodo. Yeah. This idea of this program about New Year's Eve hosted by Ryan Seacrest or whoever, it's just like, who is this for?
Well, now it's and on CNN for all the controversy that they have had for years, it was Anderson Cooper and Kathy Griffin, who of course is now persona non grata because, well, mostly because she did something stupid, but it was necessitating her to do something stupid for people to realize that she wasn't actually funny in the first place. And now she's been replaced by Andy Cohen from the Bravo Network, which, okay. Yeah. None of this is appealing to me in the slightest. I don't know if it's appealing to anybody out there. But yeah, We'll see. Let's see if anyone else agrees with us. We're going to go to the phones and go to Robert in Oak Brook. Robert, good morning.
Hey, morning, guys. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
One thing about New Year's, if you go up to Wisconsin or you go somewhere else, basically it's just all of us drunks get to drink with paper hats on.
Entirely. That's all it is. Yeah. And I can do that. Thanks for the call, Robert. I can do that at home too.
Yeah,
throw on a paper hat.
But also, it's it is one of my friends used to refer to as it is one of the true amateur days of the year, which is everybody who doesn't know how to responsibly handle themselves is out drinking too much, maybe thinking it's a good idea to get in a car and drive, which there's no excuse for now because you have things like Uber and Lyft, and you even have free CTA rides if you need something like that. So yeah, it's overrated.
New Year's Eve and Black, what I guess it's called now, Blackout Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, two of the biggest drinking nights of the year. Also, when you're getting an Uber, this is another thing that adds to the overvaluing of New Year's Eve. You get in an Uber on New Year's Eve, it's going to be like, I took one at like 6 a.m. 2 years ago. It was like $65 or something ridiculous to go like 5 miles.
Yeah.
The whole thing, it just is not too appealing, like I said.
If you have New Year's Eve plans, you want to share them with us, give us a call at 312-642-5600, or you can text them to us. Text DA to 64636 to share your New Year's plans or to tell us we're wrong about New Year's and it's actually really great, but it's not. So you can try. You're welcome to try. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, filling in today for Dan and Amy.
You drunk? No. But this ought to do it.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's actually really been helping my system and my lupus and my gastro problems. So I'm actually very happy with the product.
Acid reflux is pretty much under control. That's why I keep taking it.
I have noticed, I'm sleeping better since I started taking the Balance of Nature and all the other things I'm doing.
I can't believe how wonderful your product is. I listened to you guys on the radio for years and years and years,
and I listen to all the testimonials. I go, well, it's probably time to give it a try. And I've been just happy as can be ever since.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
I have the perfect Christmas or any other occasion gift for just about everybody on your list. I suggest the MyPillow Holiday 4-pack offer. You can get 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows plus free shipping, all for the normal price of 1 premium MyPillow. Think about that for a second. You can give 1, 2, 3, or even 4 gifts, all for the price of 1. Or if you still don't have a MyPillow for yourself, keep 1 and gift the rest. And the money-back offer is extended through March 1st. Not only that, but you can still get 30% off everything, including the MyPillow mattress topper and pet beds that you've heard me rave about. Just be sure to use the promo code Amy to get the MyPillow 4-pack offer with free shipping and the 30% discount on everything else, including mattress toppers and pet beds. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. And don't forget to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Imagining a better bank starts with looking at the savings rates most banks offer and saying, really? Capital One is building something better. You can open a Capital One savings account with one of the nation's best savings rates from anywhere, like here, or here, or here. One of the nation's best savings rates. Opened online, at a Capital One location, or from anywhere. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Tasty Catering invites you to come together this holiday season and celebrate with great food and great company.
Since 1989, Tasty Catering has been planning memorable holiday office parties all over Chicagoland and bringing your team together this year in the spirit of the season.
Their delicious holiday menu at tastycatering.com features all the amazing appetizers and entrees, savory side dishes, and decadent desserts that you'll need for the ideal holiday office party.
From elegant plated dinners to casual company buffets and festive cocktail hours.
Stop by their Elk Grove Village Kitchen and meet their award-winning catering family and sample some of their new and classic holiday menu dishes.
The experienced holiday events team is ready to take you step by step through the planning process, simply and stress-free.
Don't delay. Call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 or view the holiday menu online at tastycatering.com.
That's 847-593-2000. tastycatering.com. Holidays. Gather, eat, and enjoy together.
Stock up and save at Kohl's. It's time to spend your Kohl's cash on after Christmas stock up with up to 70% off clearance. Save 50 to 60% on family outerwear, sweaters, and fleece. Save 60% on winter sleepwear and loungewear. And save 70% on holiday trim and decor. Plus, stock up on denim for the family and save big on bed and bath during our white sale. December 26th through 31st, only at Kohl's. Select styles. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
AM 560. The Answer.
All I wanna do is put a drink in my hand.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser filling in today for Dan and Amy. Be a part of the program. Call us at 312-642-5600, or you can text DA to 64636. Talking about our plans for New Year's Eve. Did you ever do the go out and celebrate thing, like with a ton of people, or just like smaller crowds?
Oh no, yeah, a lot actually, and this year too. Because I'm a schmuck. I just went on about how I don't like it.
Yeah, and then
but
you're
I'm
gonna
do
it
because I'm a
because you feel some false sense of obligation, or
kind of yeah.
Yeah.
I just do I go along with the crowd. I'm a sheep.
yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
I got the whiff of sheeple from you. It's and I'm amazed that it hasn't struck me before this moment. But
It's a kind of a regular thing. It's just kind of it's somewhat obligatory. I've also done the opposite and done nothing, which is just as nice, if not better. Never gone to like a large gathering, but I'll be probably with as many as 30 to 50 people.
Oh, wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
I'll be with that many people in spirit, maybe, but
I would prefer that.
Yeah.
I mean, but at a certain point in the evening, you don't really, like our caller said, it's just an excuse for people to drink with paper hats on. I don't know if there will be paper hats at the party that I'm going to. I hope so. If not, I'll bring my own paper hat. I don't know if it's BYOPH party, but yeah, at a certain point, it doesn't matter after a few drinks and late into the evening.
yeah. I mean, for me, I don't remember the last time that I actually made it to midnight.
You mean in general or at New Year's?
In general?
Sounds about right at that age.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yes, because, well, I mean, I have the spirit of a 75-year-old man, if nothing else. Yeah, it's just, I can tune into a little bit of the TV coverage and try to pretend that I care about it, but it's, for me, if we're talking actual, like, holidays that are enjoyable, right? So as you mentioned, I believe for you, New Year's Eve falls somewhere between Flag Day and All Saints Day, which, that's a solid take. I can appreciate that.
It's kind of a poor man's Flag Day.
That make Flag Day a rich man's Flag Day, or is there something else that would be Independence Day is a rich man's Flag Day? I
Sure.
guess. Yeah.
Oh, that's another overrated holiday, but
You're wrong about that
July,
one, but I would say for me it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, Independence Day, and then
the movie or the holiday.
Well, apparently the movie actually seemed like it was occurring last night over Astoria, Queens. I don't know if anybody's seen the videos. You can go on this terrible website called Twitter.com, and you can find all these people tweeting out these videos from New York City last night of what turned out to be a transformer, not the movie, but a Con Edison transformer exploding in Astoria, Queens, and lighting up the sky in this bright blue color, which prompted a series of jokes that either the aliens from Independence Day were showing up, or Gozer the Gozerian was here and somebody had chosen the form of the Destructor.
It's kind of disappointing that it was neither. When you told me about the video before the show and you said a transformer, I immediately thought you meant like Bumblebee or something.
Yeah, this is some guerrilla marketing ploy for the Bumblebee movie because it's not performing particularly well.
It would have been brilliant. If
that would have been somewhat incredible
kind of
if it
extravagant,
was.
but it would have been something.
Since we mentioned movies, I forgot to mention this yesterday, and I just wanted to mention it. I had said that on Wednesday I took my son to see the new Spider-Man movie, which I commend to all of you. It is phenomenal. You should go see it. Even if you're not a huge Spider-Man fan, you will find something to enjoy about this movie. But one of the things that's just become disappointing to me, I used to really look forward to the previews. Like, I'm going to get one because it's fun. I can't remember. Some comedian said this. It's just a good take. That was like, it's where everybody gets to be a film critic for just a second. You know, you finish watching the preview and you lean over to someone and say, that looks good.
Yeah, right.
Or not good. So problem number one, way too many of them. I lost count, but I'm pretty sure there were about 20 minutes of previews before the film actually started. But one of them stuck with me. Not the name of the movie, which I could look up right now, but you know what? I don't want to recommend it to you because if you go see a movie right now, it's not necessary for you to see the movie itself. Because it's one of these emotionally manipulative dog films where man finds puppy, grows up loving dog, dog gets lost somehow, and has to, against the odds, make his way back to his owner. And I kid you not, within the confines of this 2-minute trailer, you see the dog being found as a puppy, getting lost, and returning to the owner. Literally every point of contention, every rub is resolved within the confines of the trailer itself. What is the point of seeing this movie?
Plot twist, the dog runs away again after that.
Oh.
That's what I'm hoping for.
They're like, it only shows you the middle of the movie.
Yeah,
and
that's the first 30 minutes, and the rest, it turns into a weird science fiction pick. It just goes crazy.
If only we should be so lucky. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, or you can text DA to 64636 to be a part of the program today. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, filling in today for Dan and Amy. Now we go into the newsroom with Perry Williams.
Good morning. It's 48 degrees and cloudy in Chicago at 5:30 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Perry Williams. An elderly man was struck and killed by a vehicle yesterday. This reportedly happened in Niles at around 6:30 p.m. Police say 72-year-old Michael Potwara of Niles was crossing a street when he was hit by either a pickup truck or an SUV. Authorities believe witness information may lead to finding the driver. In other news, the man at the center of a case involving the deaths of 2 Chicago police officers made a court appearance yesterday. Edward Brown claims he found a gun in an alley and fired it to see if it worked. And responding officers Conrad Gary and Eduardo Marmoleo were hit and killed by a train on Metro tracks last week. Brown's attorney said in court on Thursday that his client had no idea he was being chased by police. Cook County prosecutors said they intend to take the case to a grand jury. Also in the news, a Chicago man accused of killing his mother and putting her body in a garbage can on the city's south side is still behind bars without bail. Prosecutors say Robert Wallace stabbed his 67-year-old mother, Betty Wallace, and beat her on Christmas Eve.
Betty Wallace's head had been beaten so badly that the right side of her face was caved in and she was missing several teeth.
The 25-year-old defendant had been violent in the past. Wallace reportedly slashed his mother's face in August. In sports news, the Bulls are in D.C. tonight to take on the Wizards. The Bulls are 9-26 on the season after Wednesday's loss to Minnesota. AM 560 news time is 5:32. How bad is traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher sees dark clouds on the horizon with Democrat control of the House.
I want to prepare you for this. They don't have the votes in the Senate to convict him. He's never going to be removed from office. But we absolutely are going to be faced with the very ugly prospect of Democrats coming at him in the House and impeaching him. It's coming. It's just coming. I know it.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Joe Walsh here to tell you about an opportunity for you to grow your business in 2019 and to make a difference this Christmas season. I'm talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program. We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide food and clean water to several thousand children this year in Haiti where it's desperately needed. And your business can be a part of this. Become a Food for the Poor Business Benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. When you do that, that, AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you. Get on board with a great cause and this great radio station. Through the generosity of your business, you'll be helping 50 children. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Nikowski, 847-472-8951. Again, that's 847-472-8951. One more time, 847-472-8951.
At 5:34 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
Lakeshore Drive northbound traffic is stop and go from Chicago Avenue to the Oak Street curve where there's a crash. 3 left lanes are blocked there. Expect at least a 6 or 7 minute delay. Southbound traffic is moving pretty well on the outer drive. It is fairly light at this hour. Outbound Orion on the entrance ramp from Roosevelt, there's a large pothole. Careful there. IDOT is expected to make repairs later today. South end of the Ryan, there's outbound road work 87th split, the 3 left lanes. The other expressways and tollways look pretty good at this hour. Roads are wet, allow safe following distance, but traffic volume is fairly light. CTA Red Line trains are stopping again at Berwyn and Lawrence after an earlier power outage. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's Steve Williams.
Breezy for today, clouds and cooler. Couple of flurries late this afternoon, the high 42. A few flurries this evening, otherwise clouds and cold tonight, low 25. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy and a high at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 6 o'clock. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, or text DA to 64636. Talking about our New Year's plans. Joe, you mentioned you enjoy watching college football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
A couple of big games coming up tomorrow. The first 2 games in the college football national championship playoff. You're going to watch, I assume?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And additional bowl games beyond that, too, all weekend.
Let's start with the evening game tomorrow. The Alabama Crimson Tide, your number 1 overall seed. There's a shocker. Against the Oklahoma Sooners.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, who you got?
Alabama's favored by 14 points. I would take Alabama and the points.
Mm-hmm.
The closest game Alabama played all year was the SEC title game, the only game they had within 1 possession. I think that it'll probably be it could be relatively competitive early on, but I think Alabama probably wins by like 3 touchdowns.
Mostly because, as we've observed, if anybody has watched Big 12 football this year, this is true across that conference, but also particularly true of Oklahoma, that Oklahoma has an incredibly dynamic offense and no defense at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it. And then also, if you look at Nick Saban's record in bowl games, when he gets like a month to prepare for a team, they often have no chance. Unless it's like a game he doesn't care about, like if they've been excluded from the playoff or in the past, the BCS title game, then it's all up for grabs. But like, I know you're a Notre Dame fan, so this is going to be a painful memory. When he had a month to prepare for Everett Golson and that kind of slow, lackluster Notre Dame offense in the national title game 6 years ago, they had no chance. And the coaching staff at Alabama will be well prepared. I feel like Nick Saban's been watching film for the last 30 days. And I think it'll
with
be
no sleep. I'm fairly certain at this point. We talked yesterday about should politicians be automated. I'm increasingly convinced that Nick Saban is an automaton,
which is further proof based on his record that more things should be automated like politicians. I'm not going to give score predictions because I feel like you just have an egg on your face after you do that. But, But they'll cover 14 points.
Yeah. I agree with you. I've said from the beginning that I don't think this college football playoff is anything more than a contest to see who is going to get their brains beat in by Alabama. Georgia, look, anything could happen. I don't know that Oklahoma is capable of it just because, I mean, they have no defense. And I saw the, at least one think piece yesterday of basically how getting their brains smashed in on defense all year long has prepared them to somehow be successful against an even better team in Alabama, which makes zero sense whatsoever. But always an exciting game. And Alabama, as much as some people may be getting tired of it, that not only the SEC championship game, but the national championship game at the beginning of this year was incredibly exciting.
Yeah, and people get tired of that kind of stuff, but I like seeing, I think you need to remember the historical context of what you're watching. Like, I really enjoy watching the New England Patriots, and I would hope to see them win one more Super Bowl before Tom Brady and Bill Belichick both retire.
Together on a beach somewhere.
Most likely, that's what I would do if I were them. Just because, you may never see that again in your lifetime. You may never see a team like Alabama who could go 15-0 this year again in your lifetime. And I think you have to appreciate that. I understand the idea of hating the Golden State Warriors or Alabama or the Patriots, but at the same time, think about 20 years down the road. Are you going to say, hey, remember when the Warriors lost the finals to the Raptors? You're going to say, hey, remember when the Warriors three-peated? Or remember when Alabama won 7 titles? And that's kind of what I appreciate about Alabama. I want to see them win as much as possible, win 30 games in a row if I can or something.
Let's move on to the afternoon game, the Clemson Tigers and the aforementioned Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Who you got?
So Dexter Lawrence, the defensive tackle for Clemson, got suspended yesterday, or his suspension was upheld yesterday for performance-enhancing drugs. Won't be playing in the game tomorrow. So I would pound Notre Dame plus 12.5, but I think Clemson will still win. Close game.
I have a hard time getting a beat on this game, not only because I'm biased, and for anybody watching the live stream who can see that I am wearing the Notre Dame sweatshirt, I'm a Notre Dame partisan, but Clemson has not played anybody good this year. The most challenging game that they had was against a Syracuse team that Notre Dame beat in a handedly fashion, but in a very boring game at Yankee Stadium. So I have a hard time getting a beat on this game. I wouldn't be surprised if either team won. What I don't think will happen is that the people who are predicting that this is going to be some kind of a blowout, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. This Notre Dame team is way better than the team you mentioned back in 2012. They have a better offense. They have a much better defense. I think this has a chance to be a competitive game. And in the sense of I am a subscriber to the William F. Buckley School of Prognostication, which is I only predict the things that I wish to have occur. So I'm taking Notre Dame over Clemson by a field goal.
Oh, no, that's totally fair. I mean, I will predict if I was in the business of predicting, I would say the Cubs are going to win the World Series every year, even in years when I think they won't. I think Clemson will probably win by 7 to 10 points. They haven't played very many good teams, but in 10 of their 13 games, they've scored 35 points or more. Including as much as 77 in one game. So I'm just going to stick with that.
Let's come back to something you mentioned there, that Dexter Lawrence is being suspended for this game because of testing positive in both samples for performance-enhancing drugs. You're a big baseball fan. Does the whole performance-enhancing drugs thing bother you to any great extent? Does it ruin or lessen your appreciation for any of the sports that you enjoy watching?
No, not really. I mean, with baseball, it's the hot button issue. I mean, in baseball, drugs have been a part of baseball to some degree for the last 100 years. People used to take amphetamines all the time for a little boost.
Go watch. I can't remember the title of it, but you can look it up. Watch the documentary on Doc Ellis's no-hitter, which he threw while tripping on LSD.
Yeah. I mean, would it have been cleaner and less gross if no one took steroids in the 90s in baseball? Yes. But they did, and you can't possibly say that baseball would have done as well as it did in the late 90s and early 2000s without steroids. And I grew up on that. I mean, the 1998 baseball season was one of the first that I remember following from start to finish, and watching the home run chase between Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire was incredible. that created a lot of new fans. And I mean, like, baseball doesn't have anything like that now that they market very well. So you can't. I mean, I think people like to toe both lines where they appreciate and enjoy what that era of baseball resulted in, and they enjoyed it and the new fans that it created. And at the same time, they want to, like, wag their finger at everyone who used steroids and everything about that and try to forget about it.
Here's another reason I'm nonplussed about this whole thing, the whole concept of performance-enhancing drugs. We have yet to really come up with a way to calibrate how much they enhance. The idea that if Barry Bonds never used steroids, that Barry Bonds would not have been a great hitter, Barry Bonds would have still been a great hitter. Would he have hit probably fewer home runs than he did? Probably. But, if you look through that list of people, especially the big one that was released several years ago, a lot of these people are not superstars. They are people who are replacement level guys trying to remain in the game.
And people have to remember that pretty much everyone was doing it, but the baseline for how much you improved was different for everybody. I mean, like you said, we don't know for sure how much it enhances your performance. Jose Canseco wrote in one of his books that a lot of it actually is mental. It helps you when you're working out. It helps you when you're taking batting practice. There's like a mental boost involved with it as well. Like Sammy Sosa went from, he's one that people point to saying that, like, he wouldn't have been what he is without steroids. Maybe that's true. He went from 36 home runs in 1997 to 66 in 1998. Other people, that's a huge jump, but other people that were using steroids didn't have the same benefits because they probably didn't put the work in the gym and the work in batting practice and had that mental edge that he may have had.
One more quick take on this before we go to the break. Greg Easterbrook, I don't know if you read Greg Easterbrook's column, he has been a proponent of the idea of ending the prohibition on marijuana usage in professional sports, particularly in football, trying to use it as a pain relief option rather than narcotics. For or against?
Oh, 100% for.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, on top of that, then you have to open the discussion. Let's end the prohibition of marijuana use across the country. And
which we may be doing in Illinois. Maybe we can discuss that when we get back. If you have thoughts on any of this, drug use in Illinois, perhaps, with legalizing marijuana or drugs in sports, we want to know what you think. Give us a call. 312-642-5600 or text DA to 64636 to share your thoughts. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, in today for Dan and Amy.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia. I have nerve damage and fatigue. I have thalassemia. I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt that the first month I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
What are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
Well, what are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. Don't you remember me? Don't you know that we miss you?
Miss me? Who misses me?
You know, all your friends in the forest. The trees, the pond, that little fort that you made out of branches. We all miss you.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
The forest is not that far away. Have an adventure today. I'm sure your mom would take you.
You're right. I should get out. I want to have fun. Play in puddles, catch frogs, and climb trees. Hey, Mom!
Yeah, hon? Steven, what is that in your hand?
It's my sense of adventure, Mom. It's telling me we need to get out of the house and have some fun in nature today.
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Everyone's doing it, and everyone's making money at it, except you. You're losing business to your online competitors and you just don't know how to get in the game. Where do you even go for the information on how to get started? You need Salem Surround. Give us a moment and we'll offer you a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness, even if you have none. And we'll suggest methods that could dramatically increase your sales coming out of this season. We can design and implement all your online marketing under one roof, give you monthly reports on results, and instantly move your dollars to the most effective areas of your online advertising and sales. Social marketing, geofencing, web search enhancement, event targeting, and more. Now, there are no limitations on where you can reach customers with Salem Surround, increasing sales dramatically. Learn more. Go online to surroundchicago.com. That's surroundchicago.com. Salem Surround, connecting you with new customers. Famous conservative quotes, presented by Automated Systems.
Ronald Reagan once said, "The trouble with our liberal friends is not that they are ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so."
Hey, manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Coolchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer projects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, or I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems, call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or online at hireasi.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Lots of people would have told you to abort that baby. You didn't do that. I know that was hard. I want you to know that no matter what, I know that you always did the best you knew how to do, and look how it turned out. Those are the touching words Oprah Winfrey used to say goodbye to her mother, who passed away on Thanksgiving Day this year. Look how it turned out indeed. Vernita Lee's daughter is now a billionaire, instantly identified the world over by the mere utterance of her first name. Oprah may not preach what her mom practiced, but thankfully more Americans are choosing Vernita Lee's example over her daughter's. In the last decade, abortions in the United States have declined 25%, according to the CDC. Even as secular humanism has poisoned so many American institutions, sacred and civic, prayer warriors, Planned Parenthood defectors, and the pregnancy centers who tend to families in crisis are winning hearts and minds. As we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, we should also celebrate that the culture of life is beating back cultural Marxism.
Tasty Catering invites you to come together this holiday season and celebrate with great food and great company.
Since 1989, Tasty Catering has been planning memorable holiday office parties all over Chicagoland and bringing your team together this year in the spirit of the season.
Their delicious holiday menu at tastycatering.com features all the amazing appetizers and entrees, savory side dishes, and decadent desserts that you'll need for the ideal holiday office party.
From elegant plated dinners to casual company buffets and festive cocktail hours.
Stop by their Elk Grove Village Kitchen and meet their award-winning catering family and sample some of their new and classic holiday menu dishes.
The experienced holiday events team is ready to take you step by step through the planning process, simply and stress-free.
Don't delay. Call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 or view the holiday menu online at tastycatering.com.
That's 847-593-2000. tastycatering.com. Holidays. Gather, eat, and enjoy together.
AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. We were talking about performance-enhancing drugs in sports in the last segment. We're also talking about the possibility that non-performance-enhancing drugs could be legalized in Illinois under Governor-elect J.B. Pritzker. Let's go to the phones on this. Let's go to Ann in Chicago. Ann, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, I think it's insane. These future kids have to take care of the aging marijuana smokers. Also, they have a future of having to smoke marijuana because they have to pay the school taxes for the future students in school. What kind of a system is that? I mean, it's insane. all the kids have to be marijuana smokers to support the schools, the taxes.
Thanks for your call, Ann. Okay, I got a couple problems with that. First of all, I've never been a fan of the idea that is argued by some that the reason to legalize marijuana in any state or nationally is because of the tax revenue that will be generated by it. I think that you can sell the idea of it being the morally right thing to do to legalize marijuana and probably a number of other drugs as without any of the tax revenue arguments whatsoever. But we talked about this yesterday with the idea of taxes on smoking, right, on cigarettes, that, it's duplicitous. Out of one side of your mouth, people say, well, we're going to jack up the tax rate on these things so that people don't smoke anymore because smoking isn't good for you. And out of the other side of their mouth, but we need the revenue for this program we've already budgeted for that will probably fall short of revenue estimations.
I don't like the argument either. And it's basically take out marijuana and put in soda. Like, that'd be an insane proposition that no one would support funding schools by taxing soda, and everyone would understand that it's not a sustainable revenue source. And you hear that taxing marijuana argument now from conservatives who have warmed up to the idea of legalizing marijuana. And aren't conservatives supposed to be against taxes in general? I mean, that's the thing that always I couldn't connect the dots on that one. Is that they're supporting this new tax, this new consumption-based tax.
It shouldn't
to justify their position.
Being able to tax something shouldn't be the leading argument for any conservative or any libertarian for why you want to do something like this. Now, it can be a fringe benefit of it. You can allow for the fact that if you're going to have the sale of anything like this, that it is going to be taxed, and that money can then be used to perhaps offset revenue you're currently drawing from property taxes or income taxes or something else. That would be the conservative mindset with which to approach this. But the argument for why you should legalize it is because the prohibition on it is insane. It has been destructive, not because the drug itself is destructive, although any drug could be abused. And look at, prescription narcotics, which we talked about with regard to football players, but is a much bigger problem. Nearly any drug can be abused. Nicotine can be abused. Alcohol can be abused. If you were to go back in time and you were to explain to a visitor from Mars the effect that alcohol has on a given person who abuses it over their lifetime, and the effect that marijuana has on someone who abuses it over their lifetime, and then ask that person, tell them, one of these is banned, which one do you think it is? It would be, the obvious choice would be alcohol. Right. And yet, here we are in this situation.
Just to put a fine point on Ann's point, though, also, is our schools aren't going to be funded by marijuana revenue. That's just this thing being bandied about by Pritzker and others on that camp, that marijuana revenue is going to be the source, the solution to fix all our revenue problems, is going to fund schools and fund pensions. That's bananas. It's not a real thing. It's not something that people should have to worry about if they're thinking, oh no, we're going to have our schools entirely funded by marijuana revenue. Like, that's just, we should stop talking about that altogether.
Right. We should
drop in the bucket.
We should end the prohibition on this because prohibition does not work.
Yes.
It didn't work for alcohol. It is not working for drugs. What it is doing is actually making things less safe. It is punishing people in a way that is heinous and should be viewed as heinous.
But also, if we're going to talk about the revenue argument, whether or not it is taxed at a certain rate, let's stop talking about the idea that it's going to solve any of Illinois' financial problems.
Yes, absolutely correct. And let's be honest, too, and this is one thing where I think libertarians particularly fall down, is presenting the argument in a way as to say, oh, legalizing this, it's going to be a panacea, it's going to fix all of our problems. It's not. If you legalize it, will there be more people who use it? Probably. But what we're talking about is the overall outcomes, the reduction in cases before the criminal justice system, the number of people in jail, the cost that is endured by law enforcement to enforce the prohibition on this, the perverse incentives that are set up that actually incentivize police officers to care more about drug prohibition than they do about, say, the murder closure rate in Chicago, which the last time I checked was at a paltry 17%. It's about a sense of priorities. It's remarkable that, do people abuse alcohol? Yes. But you know what we don't have? There aren't beer gangs running around on the west and south sides of the city. It's remarkable how that it just doesn't exist. Why? Because there's a legal avenue through which to be able to access it, and we can deal with people who do have problems on the rehabilitation end of it, which is the right way to handle it.
Right. And the whole conversation in Illinois has just been directed in completely the wrong way about this and gambling expansion as ways that are going to completely turn the state around. And that's not the conversation that should be had over marijuana. It should be arguing the merits that you just outlined, Eric. That should be the conversation that's had, not this idea of, you know what, our property taxes are so high and our pension problem is out of whack because we haven't legalized marijuana. It's dots that don't need to be connected because it's just nonsense.
That's idiocy. People should make the argument on the merits, and on the merits, it is the right thing to do, at least in my opinion. Coming up in the next hour, go fund the wall. Dumb idea or the dumbest idea? I guess I may be tipping my hand as to what I think about that. Also, we'll review some of the developments in the Chicago mayoral race. Call us 312-642-5600 or text DA to 64636. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Now into the newsroom with Perry Williams.
He's still on the run. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It's the third day of the manhunt in California for a suspected cop killer.
We're not sparing any expense to hunt this suspect down and bring him to justice.
Stanislaus County Sheriff Adam Christensen isn't naming the guy, but does say he's an illegal immigrant.
He was spotted on surveillance video moments before allegedly shooting Newman Police Corporal Ronil Singh during a traffic stop. Hours earlier, Singh celebrating Christmas with his wife and 5-month-old son. The 33-year-old was originally from Fiji and spent 7 years as a cop.
That's Fox's Todd Pyro. President Trump tweeted about that manhunt amid his standoff with Democrats over wall funding. Fox's Rachel Sutherland's live in Washington.
Dave, the president tweeted, "Time to get tough on border security. Build the wall." As the partial government shutdown enters its 7th day, Texas Republican Congressman Louis Gohmert told Fox and Friends that without border money, it should continue indefinitely.
You do it till hell freezes over.
February?
Till hell freezes over.
Politico reports House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi and top Democrats are looking at several plans to reopen the government when they take control of the chamber next week. None of them includes money for a border wall. Dave.
And the Reuters Ipsos poll is out, and it shows that more Americans are blaming President Trump for this partial government shutdown. 47%. 33% say it is the Democrats' fault. The oldest living man in America has died. Richard Overton was 112 and also the oldest World War II veteran, and he loved to smoke cigars and drink whiskey.
Since I was 18 years old, it don't hurt you. You know how to drink it. Don't get drunk every 30 minutes.
Overton, honored by President Obama 5 years ago at a Veterans Day ceremony, died of pneumonia. This is Fox News.
Good morning. It's 48 degrees and cloudy in Chicago at 6:02 on AM 560 The Answer, WIND Chicago. I'm Perry Williams. Someone who bought a lotto ticket in Kane County is a millionaire. The Illinois Lottery yesterday said the Shell station in the small community of Gilberts in Kane County sold a ticket that matched 5 numbers in Tuesday's Powerball drawings. Someone in New York matched all the numbers and the Powerball. That ticket is worth $294 million. The Illinois Department of Transportation is reminding new drone owners that there are rules of the sky. IDOT sent out a note yesterday that says drone owners cannot fly near airports and that drones should be registered with the FAA. IDOT also added the whole idea of the rules is to make things safer for pilots, drone operators, and air traffic controllers. In sports news, Northwestern football is in San Diego for Monday's bowl game against Utah. The 22nd ranked Wildcats clash with the number 17 Utes in the Holiday Bowl. Northwestern is 8-5 after losing the Big Ten title game to Ohio State. And the Bears and Vikings will meet with potential big stakes on the line for both teams in Minneapolis on Sunday. At 11-4, the Bears can clinch the 2nd seed in the NFC with a win and a Rams loss to the 49ers. Bears offensive lineman Charles Leno Jr. says the team has been practicing for a loud environment in Minnesota.
We crank up the noise in practice all throughout the whole week. Just pay attention to the details, count, silent count, and, just executing what we have to do. It's about us when we go down there.
The Vikings are trying to hang on to the final NFC wildcard spot. This news report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals can post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. AM 560 news time is 6:04. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Sean Hannity applauds the president's stance on trade.
We have had horrible one-sided deals with everybody. That includes NATO, 72 cents of every dollar. That includes even our European allies and friends, supposedly. They have one-sided trade deals. Mexico, NAFTA, Canada, now China. So we're making huge progress.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
What a year. Your home improvement to-do list still isn't done. But hey, at least you still have time to get the Ford vehicle you've always wanted. Just get to the final days of our holiday sales event. Stop by your local Ford dealer today. It's where you'll find our best offers of the season on Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. So, see you sometime between now and January 2nd. Ford, built for the holidays. And now for a limited time, you can bring home a new F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $13.89 per month per $1,000 finance, regardless of down payment, is available on 18 model year F-150, excludes Raptor. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 1/2/19. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and complete details.
Law, liberty, justice. This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
I wanted to put my daughter in a part-time charter school. One law in Carson City says that I'm allowed to do that for up to 3 classes, and another law says that I'm not allowed to, that they will not take homeschool or private school children. I've worked with the Department of Education here in Washoe County. I've worked with the charter school principal, which he's fighting for it also. So I'm wondering if there's any legal action I can take, or who could I call?
Well, I'm going to get you in touch with our legal department here at the ACLJ right away, because number one, you're a taxpayer in that community, so your child would have the right to go to a public school. Charter schools usually have various set academic requirements. If your daughter otherwise meets the status, they can't be denied access to that program because they were homeschooled, which is legal in all 50 states. So let me get you in touch with the lawyers here at the American Center for Law and Justice, and we'll get you some help.
For more information about student rights, visit us on our website at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Great news! There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price, and it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
At 6:05 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
Stevenson Expressway outbound traffic stop and go from the Des Plaines River Bridge to before LaGrange Road. There's a crash reported in that area. Looking at a 4 or 5 minute delay right now. The inbound side is okay, but prepare for a possible gate delay around LaGrange Road. Inbound Orion, traffic's a little tight now. Roosevelt into the Burn Circle. 16 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 15, roadwork is wrapping up with 87th split, 3 left lanes set to reopen. Edens is fine, no delays to report. Kennedy, the Eisenhower this time. I-57, Fishboard looking good. Lakeshore Drive is cleared up after an earlier crash. Oak Street curve. Tollways are fine. Northwest Indiana also. That's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's Steve Williams.
Today, cloudy, breezy, and cooler. Flurries late this afternoon, the high 42. A few flurries this evening, then cloudy and cold tonight, low 25. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies. Daytime high tomorrow at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 6:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Townstone Financial. Visiting townstone.com for a home refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgage is the smart choice.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, filling in today for Dan and Amy on Chicago's Morning Answer. Be a part of the program with us by giving us a call at 312-642-5600, or you can text DA to 64636 to be a part of the show. We're entering, I believe it's day 7 of the government shutdown. How are you celebrating the government shutdown?
It's been that long already.
Yeah, apparently it has.
It's been so hard that it felt like, I don't know. It's a struggle. Yesterday I got up and I just was lost.
Yeah.
I didn't know which way.
You woke up once again in a bed covered in blood, not of your own.
Yeah, and I didn't know what my name was. I didn't know where I was. It's tough. I don't know how we've gotten through so many in the past, really.
It is remarkable. The major sticking point of this government shutdown is President Trump's insistence that any continuing resolution, because it's not a budget, we haven't actually had a budget in, I don't remember how long, but any continuing resolution to fund the government, even if it's only for the next couple of months, must include funding for his promised border wall. And needless to say, congressional Democrats are not giving any ground on that, especially considering that the House is about to become controlled by the Democrats. And the longer that this government shutdown stretches on, the less likely it is that President Trump is going to be able, in really any way, shape, or form, to get anything out of the House. Because while you can get a bill passed by the, Paul Ryan-led Republican House that includes border wall funding, you're not getting that from Nancy Pelosi.
It's beautiful. So if as long as we don't get a wall for X amount of time, and soon Democrats will be in control of the House, so we won't get it then, the government could be shut down forever.
I mean, I guess it's possible.
Yeah. I'm excited.
It just really is increasing the possibility, though, that the resolution to this is going to be one less than acceptable, I would say, to President Trump, because the likelihood that it is going to include any border wall funding seems to be pretty much close to zero.
Did he try Mexico? Did they could?
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that because fear not, a GoFundMe has been set up 11 days ago to raise $1 billion so that we, the people, will fund the wall. And this is just fascinating to me for a number of reasons. One, the set goal is apparently the highest goal you can set on GoFundMe. So they've set a goal of raising $1 billion. Now, the total dollar amount that has been requested in any continuing resolution for funding the border wall is $5 billion. So you're only coming in $4 billion short of the amount that's been requested, which is also, may I remind you, well short of the total estimate for what it would cost to build and then continually maintain this border wall. So far, $17,753,000 has been raised. And I'm sorry, to me, this is idiotic because it belies, at first, it just belies the idea of what Trump promised, right? That we were going to build a wall on the southern border and Mexico was going to pay for that wall. And of course, he could never really explain how Mexico was going to pay for that wall because it was never true. There's no way to make Mexico pay for it.
Never at one point ever went into details on how that deal would have worked
Even
out.
the attempts to somehow work out a way that with this border readjustment tax that Paul Ryan proposed, which was Paul Ryan's attempt to kind of save face on all of this and deliver some way that Trump could make the argument that Mexico is paying for it, is really just a tariff on imports from Mexico, which means that the American consumer is the one paying for it. And if it were to be funded through the continuing resolution that the House passed, which of course is never going to actually become law, or the House wanted to pass, excuse me, it would be paid for by the American taxpayer. And the GoFundMe, for people who I believe accepted the idea that Mexico was going to pay for this, are saying, fine, I'll take money out of my pocket and do it myself.
This shows people will give their money to a lot of things on GoFundMe that are rather silly.
I remember someone several years ago GoFunding his making potato salad.
Oh, yeah. There are some worse. I mean, I remember the story at National Review from a couple years ago. I just pulled it up for reference again. Just detailing some of the dumbest GoFundMe. There's one for booze money that some guy set up. Another one for I booked the wrong plane ticket, LOL. So I need to buy a new one. Burning Man, getting tickets to Burning Man. Like, it's been shown time and time again that people will put stupid stuff up on GoFundMe and somebody, for some reason, will give a little bit to it. This is baffling. I mean, I guess it's a little bit from a lot of people, but still, this is throwing money into a black hole.
292,267 people have given to this. And of course, nobody has been able to detail exactly how this money is going to get to the federal government, how it is going to be dedicated to building a border wall, assuming that they actually are able to raise 1/5 of the amount that has been requested, which is insufficient to actually fully build the wall. No idea on this. Let's find out what Jim in Rogers Park thinks about it. Jim, good morning.
Yeah, hi. I have two things. I actually called for a question, but I would say with what we were just talking about, I think it's more of a symbolic thing to try to see how many Americans are passionate about this and then be able to throw that in the Democrats' face. Look, 1 million Americans gave us $5. But anyway, my question is, didn't this just pass? Why are we worried about what Nancy Pelosi is going to do when she comes in? It's already passed the House. We're going to have more senators in the Senate, and so we need less Democratic senators to come over to the other side because they can't take the pressure anymore. I don't see how it has to go through the House again. Can you explain that?
So thanks for your call, Jim. So what was passed did not include the original funding, and I don't believe that there are actually the votes to get it through with the funding for the wall in the House. It's not the only bill that was being ready to be sent to President Trump's desk was one that didn't include funding for the wall. And it's, while despite having the majority, apparently there are not enough Republicans to go along with this, and hence the shutdown that we currently have. Now, you can blame that on Republicans to the extent that you want, but that seems to be the current situation.
So on the point, Jim, about it being a symbolic gesture, it absolutely is a symbolic gesture, but it's with real people's real money. And that's where the silliness comes in.
Yeah.
If I like threw $200 million in symbolically at something, it would be sure, like maybe that's my purpose, but that's real money, and it's like a real. I'm actually putting the money.
But what Jim is right about there is that, and this has been always true, and I have a good friend who's made this argument to me on a number of occasions, that the wall is a totem. The wall has always been a totem. It is something to remind, so that people can say, okay, we're getting serious about border security. Because when you actually look at the numbers, most people who come here illegally, how are they getting here? Why are they here illegally? They've overstayed visas. They came here through the proper process, and they have overstayed their visas. So the question is not that if you build a wall on the southern border, it will have zero value. Will it prevent some people from coming here illegally? Undoubtedly so. This is not the major source of illegal immigration into this country. So to the extent that you want to crack down on illegal immigration, the enforcement side of it is people who come here through proper means and overstay their welcome. So it just strikes me as this is the kind of thing that I thought conservatives were beyond, that they were supposed to be the sober ones in these kinds of conversations. I believe it is Emerson who once said that, there is a certain meanness in the observations of the conservative, as well as a certain superiority of fact. And the superior fact here is that most of the illegal immigration into this country does not come across the southern border. It comes on airplanes. And if you want to present yourself as a serious actor on this, I think you have to be on the correct side of it and saying, here's where we should address it.
Yeah, and then there's also the issue of the funding. So taking in all the things you just mentioned about how this is not the best way to solve illegal immigration, this is a lot of money put forward for a thing that's not the best way to solve illegal immigration. So if you're worried about, the federal budget, if you're worried about the size and scope of government, spending this amount of money at a wall that won't solve the biggest issues with illegal immigration is not the best use of resources.
And I'm more than happy to have a big picture conversation about how we need to deal with immigration in this country. I have been an advocate for a more liberalized immigration system for a long time. I am, however, also cognizant of the social science research, which says that, the larger the waves of immigration that come into a country, the more unrest that it creates. I am happy to deal with that as a reality and have a conversation about this. But it needs to be a serious, sober, adult conversation. And the idea of putting almost $18 million of money out of people's pockets towards a wall that is not going to fully fund it in the first place and that avoids the real conversation doesn't seem to make any sense to me. But if it makes sense to you, call us and tell us why at 312-642-5600 or text DA to 64636. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. If I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Hugs at the arrival gate.
Hey, I missed you so much.
Seeing your best bud for the first time in a long time. Family and friends around the table. At Lincoln, we know the holidays are filled with moments like these, when we realize that the greatest wish of all is one that brings us together. In that spirit, we invite you into our home during the Lincoln Wishlist event, where not coincidentally, we're making wishes come true with exceptional offers on the Lincoln family of luxury vehicles. The Lincoln Continental, the MKZ, the MKC, the new Nautilus, and the iconic Navigator. The Lincoln Wishlist event, because wishes really do come true at your Lincoln dealer.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to tell you about an opportunity for you to promote your business
and to make a difference this Christmas season.
We're talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program.
We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide food and clean water to several thousand children this year in the Caribbean and Latin America where it's desperately needed.
And your business can be a part of this. Become a Food for the Poor Business Benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. When you do that, AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air right here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you.
That's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Natkowski at 847-472-8951. Again, that's Anjanette at 847-472-8951. One more time, 847-472-8951.
AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Cohen, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, or text DA to 64636. And let's go to the phones now. We'll go to Tony in Romeoville. Tony, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Thank you for taking my call.
What's on your
Please
mind?
bear with me. I worked all night. I'm a little tired.
I got up at 3 o'clock this morning, so I feel you, man.
All right. What Trump was saying from the beginning that Mexico was going to pay for the wall, he never mentioned about Mexico pull out a checkbook and write a check up front. He never did say that.
Well, yeah.
He was referring to once the wall has been built, it would pay for itself in 10 years or so by keeping the drugs, the gangs, the human trafficking out of this country. We'll be saving money. That's what he meant by that.
Thanks for your call,
I don't know
Tony.
if you ever really got into specifics.
Well,
on
yeah,
that.
there was a lack of specifics on all of that, and I don't know the actual, anyone has run the calculus on the idea of how, is this going to decrease, police presence? Or
Would
they,
be
it's
interesting.
like,
Would be interesting to
we've
talk
only
about
ever seen expenditures in all these departments go up. I mean, if there's actual an analysis out there that says that this is how it's going to work, I'm happy to entertain it, but I've seen nothing of the sort. Let's go to Pat in Lombard. Pat, good morning.
Yeah, I called in because a country, we were talking about symbolic values out there. The country is more than just its borders, it's its language and its culture. Now, I'm talking about the amount of extra taxes I have to pay in my schools because now I've got multilingual classes. So suddenly my classes are costing me more money. My taxes go up. Then, as far as the actual municipal cost of this, I have all different other things involved in this community that cost me money. So it is a question of a symbolic value, and I'm quite frankly happy to get it done.
Thanks for your call, Pat. So number one, the thing that is driving increasing costs in school districts in Illinois is pensions. I know this is like an answer that we bang on about all the time, but the answer is it is pensions.
And if you're
that is what's driving your property tax costs on all of
If you're
this.
taking on a new class or a bigger class size, that's minuscule compared to pension costs.
And the idea of if we're concerned about how much more in taxes people are paying, the amount to not only fund the wall but also continue to maintain the wall over time is going to necessitate a continual tax burden unless you're operating under the belief that we're going to reduce expenditures somewhere else, which please cite the example for me of the federal government agreeing to reduce its expenditures somewhere else. Let's go to Nick and Zion. Nick, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, what your argument about not building the wall doesn't take into account is what about how it impacts the flow of drugs over the border? What about how it impacts the flow of human trafficking over the border? It also funnels them to smaller areas where it's easier to control. It doesn't take any of that into account, just immigration. What about the repeat offenders, the ones that keep coming back over the border? You're not taking that into account. That's really all I had to say.
Thanks for your call, Nick. So if you listen to the previous segment, Joe and I had discussed that I'm not only for legalizing marijuana in Illinois, but I would make the argument for radically decriminalizing drugs nationwide, which I think is the more direct way to deal with the drug problem. Look, human trafficking is also a problem. The degree to which it, some people argue that I think it is more there's a lot more of it than there actually is. Elizabeth Nolan Brown at Reason has done a really good job of covering this. But I think that, look, these are things to have a conversation, but what someone has not done is connect the dots for me as to directly how the wall itself is going to be the solution to all of these problems, when we have seen the kind of sadly ingenious ways people have used boats to bring cocaine here from Bogota, have found other ways to smuggle it in. You're incentivizing the entrepreneurship of a lot of people to deal with it in a different way.
Show me the study about human trafficking decreasing based on a wall. I mean, then we can have a discussion about that.
Real quick, let's go to Dave in Deerfield. Dave, good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
All right.
What's on your mind?
My point is, because you point on, with the visa overstays being the majority of them, as far as people coming over the border, because we don't have a wall. If you got a hole in the bottom of your boat and you got waves crashing over the top, you fix the hole in the bottom of the boat first before you can deal with the other problem.
Thanks for your call, Dave. I believe this is what I'm saying, is that the hole in the bottom of the boat is the people who are overstaying visas who are coming here through that means. It's like, look, I'm 100% serious that we need a serious way to deal with immigration in this country. Serious people need to have serious conversations about how we're going to handle it. But I don't think we're having a serious conversation right now. But we want you to be part of any serious conversation that we are going to have. Give us a call at 312-642-5600, or you can text DA to 64636 to be a part of the program this morning with us. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, in today on Chicago's Morning Answer for Dan and Amy. Now into the newsroom with Perry Williams.
Good morning. It's 48 degrees and cloudy in Chicago at 6:30 on AM 560, The Answer. I'm Perry Williams. Illinois senior U.S. Senator says President Trump is holding the country hostage during the partial government shutdown. The president took to Twitter yesterday to say that most of the people who are not being paid during the nearly week-old shutdown are Democrats. Democratic Senator Dick Durbin fired back on his own tweet that blames the president for the shutdown and says it's all over what he calls an outrageous demand for a border wall. In other news, Southern Illinois University is telling students about a new pool of scholarship money. The school in Carbondale yesterday said there will be $3.8 million in scholarship money available through the state's Aim High grant program. Aim High is a new state program that's designed to keep Illinois students at Illinois universities. The Illinois State Police are telling people not to take the chance on New Year's Eve. Troopers yesterday said anyone who plans on drinking any New Year's party should plan to get at any New Year's party, that is, should plan to get a ride home. The state police say troopers will be out in force across the state to try and keep the roads safe as we head from 2018 into 2019. In sports news, Patrick Kane had a hat trick as the Blackhawks beat the Wild 5-2 last night at the UC. Kane says they're playing better hockey as of late.
Even though some games we don't play our best, we're finding ways to hang in the game and come up with some points. So, that's a show of a good team when you can do that stuff. So maybe we're starting to learn some things in here and figure out the way we need to play, but I still think we can play better.
The Hawks won for the fourth time in 5 tries and now take on the Avalanche in Denver tomorrow. This news report is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price, and it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save. AM 560 news time is 6:33. How bad is traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
The world is a dangerous place. Often, it's a very ugly place, and you come here to try to help make sense of it all. We give you the latest news, help you understand what it means and why it's important. But there are bigger questions you need answered about life and death, faith and hope. And that's where our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life, comes in. When you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions, give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com.
The Army National Guard is committed to keeping the country safe and our communities secure. Composed of hundreds of thousands of citizen soldiers from all walks of life, the Guard is always ready to respond to local or national emergencies. We protect the homeland. We're always there when called upon, and in every state and territory, we stand guard for our communities. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Illinois Army National Guard. Aired by the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
This is the time, more than ever, to look at your accounts and say, you know what? I've made a good amount of money back. Why give that money back, especially if you're entering into retirement and you need to generate an income? You need to have all of that money. So why give back what you've earned back from 2008?
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money strategist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
At 6:34 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
CTA Red Line trains are stopped at 35th Street with sick passenger. Closure in Beach Park due to a fire. Lewis Avenue, Wadsworth, 33rd. There's a tree down on the north side of Kedzie and Pratt. Eden and Kennedy are fine at this hour. No delays to report on the Eisenhower. Stevenson outbound. Stop and go First Avenue before LaGrange Road due to an earlier crash. About 45 minutes. Lakeshore Drive, 355. About 5 to 34 minutes. On Ryan, just a little slow. Roosevelt to Burns Circle. It's a 1 or 2 minute delay. I-57, Bishop Ford looking good. No problems to report right now in the area tollways. No problems to report on I-80 or in Northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's Steve Williams.
Breezy for today, clouds and cooler. Couple of flurries late this afternoon, the high 42. A few flurries this evening, otherwise clouds and cold tonight, low 25. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy and a high at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update at 7 o'clock. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy on AM 560 The Answer, home of the greatest bumper music in the world. Call us at 312-642-5600 or text DA to 64636 to be a part of the program. We want to move on to the mayoral race in Chicago, but one quick call. We're going to go to Mike in Round Lake on our last topic real quick. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Hey, so I believe with this whole GoFundMe thing, we're just doing what we always blame Democrats of not doing, which is putting their money where their mouth is. We criticize Bernie Sanders for not paying extra taxes. What are we doing right now with this GoFundMe?
Thanks for your call, Mike.
So Mike has a good point. Well, one, the problem is that we don't know if it's actually going to get to the government for its purpose. But this is kind of like my libertarian fever dream where every government program or proposed government program is funded by a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
I think GoFundMe could be like half of our government. Like that's how we accumulate revenue for things. Is everything when you propose a program, it comes with a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And if it can become funded via the GoFundMe, then we fund it. Also, just like putting up sponsorships for public projects, so private interests can front the costs. I mean, let's have a GoFundMe government.
Look, to that extent, Mike, you're onto something there. And Joe, I agree with that as well. Everything down to hey, that pothole, at 2nd and Main is terrible. I hit it every day. You put the GoFundMe up there, and people give money to fixing the pothole. The one thing you can't get around, though, is when it comes to immigration, that this is a federal issue. It is something that the federal government is specifically charged with handling. So I don't think you're going to get around that, and you're not going to get past, at least with regard to this specific effort, that it is symbolic. And to the extent that symbolic things are important, okay. But it is not, I don't think it's going to end up again. You raise the maximum amount that GoFundMe will allow, and it's a fifth of what you actually is being requested, which is a fraction of what is actually needed. So I just think we should be a little more serious about this going forward. Moving on to the Chicago mayor's race, the candidate list has been knocked down from 21 to 18. A couple of people have been knocked off the ballot, including a grandma.
Yeah,
which,
87-year-old from Roseland, Grandma Clark.
Grandma Clark.
I didn't even know she was running, to be honest.
I just want to throw it out there. Could Grandma Clark do a worse job than anybody else in that race?
No, and so I just learned about her candidacy today when the news came that she was knocked off the ballot, and I'm upset because she would have been my candidate. I didn't know about her, but I would have voted for Grandma Clark.
Yeah, Conrine Hikes Clark, Richard Mayers, and Sandra Mallory will not appear on the February 26 ballot. Clark and Mayers did not meet the minimum requirement of 12,500 signatures, and Mallory's petition sheets were submitted in several bundles, rather than the single uniform package that is required by state election codes.
I had never heard of any of those people. It's like reading off a practice squad roster for an NFL team. I had no idea who those people are, and it shows there's too many people who are running for this office.
But also on the same sense here, if you'll allow me, election law in Illinois is insane.
Yes.
One, the idea that, you're disqualified from the ballot because, I get it. You're supposed to follow the rules. I get it. But you need this single uniform submission of signatures. You, of course, have this ever-present game at whatever level we're talking about of having to gather signatures to get on a petition signatures to get on the ballot. And then you go through this process of one of the other campaigns challenges those signatures to try to knock you off the ballot. It is the quintessential way to get reelected. In the area where I live now, the Hyde Park area of Chicago, many years ago, State Senator Ann Palmer was going to run for Congress and decided, okay, I'm going to handpick my successor for my Senate seat because this is Illinois, and that's how it works. So you'll join the state Senate. I'm going to move on to Congress. And then when she actually did a full assessment of her chances in this congressional race and realized, they're not very good, said, I'm going to go ahead and keep my Senate seat. But the handpicked successor that she had selected was like, yeah, no, you already told me that I'm in for this, so no, thank you. Well, she goes out and gathers the required number of signatures, and the person she selected to succeed her challenges them and manages to knock her off the ballot, guaranteeing unopposed path to election for a then unknown law professor from the south side of Chicago by the name of Barack Obama.
Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah.
You may have heard of him.
Mm-hmm. The guy who's involved with Netflix now.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. New Netflix producer Barack Obama. Married to the most respected woman in America, at least according to one new poll. Yeah. Very exciting. This is the way that it normally works. This is just, again, this is insane to me. There are other states that have a process where you pay a certain amount to get ballot access. It was like $1,000 or $1,500 or something like that. Enough that it's not insignificant that anybody could pay it. $1,000 is a reasonable expenditure for most people. But also, it alleviates the need for this cottage industry of lawyers and political hacks whose job it is to try to lessen the number of choices that people have on a ballot at any given time.
They use it to, so the mechanism is there to get rid of illegitimate candidacies. It's that's what it's for, and it should be there for that. But now it's used as this thing that is like a process in the campaign season. You can almost be assured at the start of every campaign season that this will come up.
Yeah,
to try to to try to knock somebody off. And it's not just Chicago. You mentioned Illinois law. In the south suburbs of Harvey, there's a mayoral race going on. You've probably heard of Harvey for its pension crisis, for had to cut police and fire services.
It's
recently.
effective suspension of the rule of law.
Yeah, and everyone is challenging everyone's signatures down there. There's like 8 people running, I want to say. And I was talking to a guy, Albert Abney, who's running for mayor in Harvey. He's a libertarian. And he had his signatures challenged by like 4 different people. Thankfully survived it to give people of Harvey a choice. But it just goes to show you, even a suburb like Harvey of 25,000 people, this tactic still goes on.
Yeah, because it's a game.
It is.
It's a game.
Like Tony Preckwinkle and Susanna Mendoza challenging each other's signatures, like they know each other is a legitimate candidate. Like they know.
Yeah.
It's just a game to try to.
I may not agree on them with Munch, but they are yes, legitimate candidates. They're not fringe candidates.
Yeah, Susanna Mendoza is the most likely person to win the race,
probably.
And her getting her signatures challenge is ridiculous. It's just a part of the process in the campaign season, and it's misusing the mechanism that's there, that should be there to run a fair election, and it's making it the complete opposite.
Call us and tell us what you think at 312-642-5600, or you can text DA to 64636 to be a part of the program today. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in for Dan and Amy.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. China set to talk about tariffs. Jobless claims fell again last week, and Las Vegas hotels are gearing up for New Year's Eve. Those stories next.
Have you ever seen a pest controller spraying chemicals in your home? It makes you wonder, if their chemicals are safe, then why do they suit up and wear respirators only to leave you to walk back in unprotected? G'day, I'm Scott from Plug-in Pest Free, and I'm here to tell you there's a better way. In an age where we now have the choice to drive electric cars, you too can electronically rid your home or business of unwanted rodents and pests. The answer is Plug-in Pest Free. 100% chemical-free, Plug-in Pest Free is your safest bet for your family and pets. Our bestseller, the Plug-in Pest Free Pro, will cover up to 4,000 square feet. Now that's fair dinkum. So order yours today at gopestfree.com. Use promo code SAVE20 for 20% off plus free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's gopestfree.com, promo code SAVE20. Don't spray and regret. Plug in and forget. Gopestfree.com today.
China's announced plans for talks next month to address tariffs with the U.S. Any breakthrough on trade would likely boost markets here and overseas. Americans filing for unemployment claims dropped again last week, signaling continued strength in the labor market under President Trump. Initial jobless claims have now fallen in 3 of the past 4 weeks. This offsets some economists' concerns about the weakness in the housing market due to higher mortgage rates. And with 2019 on the horizon, hotels and restaurants in Las Vegas are gearing up for a profitable New Year's Eve. The stars are coming out, including Lady Gaga, Gwen Stefani, Celine Dion, and Bruno Mars, and about 300,000 people are expected for the city's fireworks spectacular. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hello, Chicago. Christopher Crum, your host for Power Trading Radio here. And did you know that Online Trading Academy has got some comprehensive 3-hour workshops that'll teach you the common mistakes that traders and investors make? We'll show you how we time the markets with a great degree of accuracy, and we'll teach you how to apply a simple rule-based trading and investing strategy. Well, you can apply this to your trading account if you wanted to replace or supplement your income, or apply it to your long-term investments to build wealth over time, or do both. It's a $500 value. I'm giving it away to the next 5 callers absolutely free. Just call 888-984-8723. That's 888-984-8723. You know what else? I'm going to throw in a active investor, wealth builder, education inspirational CD absolutely free with this too. It's $99 value. So for the workshop and the CD, almost $600. Just call 888-984-8723. It's for the next 5 callers only. 888-984-8723. And don't forget to check us out on the web at tradingacademy.com.
Wow, we've been doing a lot of roofs.
And we're ready to do yours. This is Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson from Crumweedy. Okay, say it. If your roof is needy,
call Crumweedy. Remember that when you need repair or when you need a new roof.
It's so important to choose your roofing company wisely.
Here's our pitch.
Installation. It's the ball game.
We follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact. Most roofing companies don't do that.
When we give you a quote, we give you good, better, and best options. You decide.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're a third-generation family business. 65 years of doing great roofs.
We run the company on good, conservative values.
For any roofing problem or need, call your roofing guys, Crumweedy.
Do we have any special offers? Sure. Just ask. We'll take care of you.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com.
When your roof is needy,
call
Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I had cancer. I have fibromyalgia. I have nerve damage and fatigue. I have thalassemia. I'm hypoglycemic. So my life since cancer, I've had to learn how to live with it. But starting Balance of Nature, I felt it the first month. I felt different. It made such a difference that now I wake up, my head feels clearer, I have more energy. Very rarely does my body cramp up anymore. It's the best thing. It's just amazing. I don't know what to say. I just would not be what I am today if I didn't start Balance of Nature.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Lots of people would have told you to abort that baby. You didn't do that. I know that was hard. I want you to know that no matter what, I know that you always did the best you knew how to do, and look how it turned out. Those are the touching words Oprah Winfrey used to say goodbye to her mother, who passed away on Thanksgiving Day this year. Look how it turned out indeed. Vernita Lee's daughter is now a billionaire, instantly identified the world over by the mere utterance of her first name. Oprah may not preach what her mom practiced, but thankfully more Americans are choosing Vernita Lee's example over her daughter's. In the last decade, abortions in the United States have declined 25%, according to the CDC. Even as secular humanism has poisoned so many American institutions, sacred and civic, prayer warriors, Planned Parenthood defectors, and the pregnancy centers who tend to families in crisis are winning hearts and minds. As we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, we should also celebrate that the culture of life is beating back cultural Marxism.
Do your gums bleed? Have you been told that you have gum disease? Are you missing teeth? The doctors at PerioCare can help. This is Dr. Russell Sakala, and I am a periodontist. I specialize in the treatment of gum disease to save teeth and dental implants to replace missing teeth. Did you know that gum disease has been linked to a variety of other health problems, including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and increases the risk of premature birth? The good news is the doctors at PerioCare are specialists in the area of treating gum disease and the placement of dental implants. We treat the whole patient and use the most contemporary treatment options that best fit your condition. Our primary goal is to restore your dental health and replace missing teeth to maintain your general health. I'm a veteran and I support veterans. PerioCare offers a discount for those who have served. PerioCare, where a healthy smile means a healthy body. For a consultation, call 773-631-0344 or visit us at periocare.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Owen, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, or you can text DA to 64636 to be a part of the program, talking about the mayoral race in Chicago. Some fundraising numbers just out a couple days ago. Leading the pack, Bill Daley of $3.2 million, followed by Tony Preckwinkle at $1.7, Gary Chico at $1.3, Willie Wilson $1 million, Lori Lightfoot $998,000, Gary McCarthy, 974K. Paul Vallis at 836K. Susanna Mendoza, 725. Amara Enya, 209. Dorothy Brown, 204. And Neil Sales Griffin at $134. Anything in there that surprises you?
Neil Sales Griffin. No, not really. I'm not too surprised that Daly is out up front like that. No, not totally. I think really the top half of that is what matters. When you get down to the bottom half, that's just, I think, throwing money. Unfortunately, I don't like to say this, but throwing money at a candidate like Neil Sales Griffin or even maybe Willie Wilson, who I kind of like as a person, doesn't seem like a good effort.
Yeah, I learned from the host of this program on a regular basis, Mr. Dan Proft, that apparently after 5 p.m., you will only find Willie Wilson wearing a tuxedo,
yeah.
Which is just tremendous.
I mean, there is a point to be made that because you're just trying to get to the runoff, that if there's one like anti-establishment insurgent candidate, all they really need is 14 or 15% of the vote, potentially.
Right.
So that could be something. Amara Enya is the one that obviously has celebrity backing. So maybe there is a chance if she raises enough money to surge to second place, which is all she really needs to do. And then when you have, let's just use Amara Enya as an example, Amara Enya versus Susanna Mendoza, or Amara Enya versus Tony Preckwinkle, or Amara Enya versus Bill Daley, there's a fraction of the city that is going to be attracted to the anti-establishment non-machine candidate. So there is something to be said if they can pick one candidate that's not Bill Daley, not Susanna Mendoza, not Tony Preckwinkle. It could be any of those people. It could be Gloria Lightfoot. It could be anybody. There's something to be said about them trying to watch their fundraising numbers to see if they can raise a significant amount of money.
Yeah, I think it's unsurprising that Bill Daley is leading the pack, but I also think Bill Daley, to me, reads as of the serious set of candidates, probably the most vulnerable, because you wonder the city's indulgence at this point in time for the notion that the mayoralty is a family heirloom to be passed on from Daley to Daley to Daley.
I agree with that, and you would think that they would be a little tired of it, but at the same time, the last Daley was more popular than Rahm, obviously, and also
it's a low bar we're clearing.
I know, but recency
especially
bias,
considering that Rahm Emanuel is just such a likable person,
right? But Rahm Emanuel was also reelected once, and he wasn't that popular then. And we're talking about recency bias. People were going to remember the last Daley before Rahm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first point, and then two, we live in a state where the Speaker of the House, who is considered unpopular, has been reelected over and over and over again.
But that's
the Madigan name is in the Attorney General too, outgoing Attorney General. We live in a country where you had a real possibility of going Bush Clinton for the White House.
Yeah,
I think to an extent that's definitely true that people are going to be burnt out on the Daley name and that'll hurt him. But I don't think it's definitely enough to sink him.
You're probably right there. I think your observation as well that there's the opportunity for the kind of dark horse candidate, somebody to come out of nowhere in the same way that Donald Trump kind of came unexpectedly out of nowhere in a large field of candidates to surprise a lot of people. Yeah, so someone like an Amara Enya, who has the backing of Chance the Rapper, who has the backing of Kanye West, you get that 14%, you get into that runoff, who knows?
But
who knows what people are going to do in a general election?
Here's the problem with 18 candidates, though. It does make it a lot harder for that one insurgent candidate to stand out, to raise money, and then to get to second place. If there were 4 people running, and it was Daley, Preckwinkle, Mendoza, and Enya, all of a sudden it looks really good for Amara Enya to do it. I mean, the bar to clear is higher, but people who are not happy, let's say the people who are burnt out on the Daley name, but are also not fans of Preckwinkle and are kind of on Mendoza, like they're going to look for the outsider, and the outsider that has the backing of Chance the Rapper, Kanye West, is young, bright, and if she can raise money, then who knows?
The question that springs to mind for me is, as I look through these names, does it matter?
No, it doesn't. It's the game. The game of it all is fun to talk about, but literally none of this matters.
I don't see, Bill Daley, who is just going to be, continue to service the continuation of a lot of the same policies that have been in place in Chicago for years and years and years. Toni Preckwinkle, who, has continued to live generally off of her good fortune of not being born Todd Stroger from when she took over the board presidency of
to be
Cook
fair,
County.
I'm banking on that too. I was not born Todd Stroger, and it's worked out pretty well.
I managed to campaign against Todd Stroger once, and the funny thing is that like I like Todd. I think he's
he's
one of
nice,
the more
yeah.
erstwhile people. He actually believes and says the things that he believes, which is an uncommon quality to come across in Chicago and Cook County politics. I think he's wrong about almost all of it, but I appreciate the earnestness to defend it on its merits rather than to be slippery the way that some other people are. Again, the Toni Preckwinkles, who basically are going to defend the same kind of stuff in essence, but not actually mount a meritorious defense of it on the merits. But yeah, going down the rest of this list, too, Gary Chico, Willie Wilson. Again, I find Willie rather interesting. Lori Lightfoot, come on. Gary McCarthy, who, if Rahm was supposedly going to have problems with the fallout from the Waquan McDonald case, hello, Gary McCarthy. You have a lot to answer for as well with regard to the way the police department was being run under your watch there. And then, yeah, Susana Mendoza. I mean, to me, I've said this before, Paul Vallis is about the only adult in this room that I could actually consider getting behind in any way, shape, or form.
But ultimately, it probably doesn't matter. You'll probably have Susana Mendoza as your mayor. You'll have a mope like Amaya Pawar as your treasurer, and we'll all die a slow death. Eat Arby's.
Eat another free endorsement for nihilist Arby's here on Chicago's Morning Answer. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, we're going to talk to State Representative Alan Skillicorn about whether or not you're going to see your gas taxes go up, whether they're going to try to tax you by the mile here in Illinois, and what other various and adventuresome ways that the legislature can come up with to try to separate you from your hard-earned money. Give us a call at 312-642-5600. Text DA to 64636. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Now into the newsroom with Perry Williams.
A threat from the president on day 7 of the partial government shutdown. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. He just tweeted, "We'll be forced to close the southern border entirely if the obstructionist Democrats do not give us the money to finish the wall." Fox's Rachel Sutherland has more on the standoff live from Washington.
Dave, with no sign of an agreement to reopen the government, it's increasingly likely the new Congress, to be seated next week, will inherit the problem. Democratic Congressman Jim McGovern calls the shutdown embarrassing and wrong.
800,000 federal employees will not get paid during this holiday season.
House Freedom Caucus Chair Mark Meadows blames Democrats.
The needle has moved towards a very long shutdown.
The longest government shutdown in U.S. history was in 1996 under President Bill Clinton. It lasted 21 days. Dave.
Well, Rachel, the head of Homeland Security, heads to the Texas border today. Kirsten Nielsen will go to Arizona tomorrow. She's called for more medical screening of kids caught coming here illegally after 2 children died in Border Patrol custody this month. An autopsy shows the 8-year-old boy from Guatemala who died Christmas Eve had the flu. It's day 3 of the manhunt for a suspected cop killer in California who's in the country illegally and accused of murdering Newman officer Ronil Singh at a traffic stop. Chief Randy Richardson.
I did not know Christmas morning at 4 o'clock in the morning when I said goodbye to him and sent him off to his family that it would be the last time that I saw him.
Singh was killed early Wednesday. This could be a big day for Sears, the struggling retailer that's already closed a lot of stores. The deadline for bids to buy Sears out of bankruptcy is this afternoon. And the New York Post reports the only interested buyer is still trying to secure the financing. And if there are no bids, Sears could liquidate and be gone for good. This is Fox News.
Good morning. It's 48 degrees and cloudy in Chicago at 7:02. On AM 560, The Answer, WIND Chicago, I'm Perry Williams. The man at the center of a case involving the deaths of 2 Chicago police officers made a court appearance yesterday. Edward Brown claims he found a gun in an alley and fired it to see if it worked. And responding officers Conrad Gary and Eduardo Marmoleo were hit and killed by a train on Metro tracks last week. Brown's attorney said in court yesterday that his client had no idea he was being chased by police. Cook County prosecutors say they intend to take the case to a grand jury. An elderly man was struck and killed by a vehicle yesterday. This reportedly happened in Niles at around 6:30 p.m. Police say 72-year-old Michael Patwara of Niles was crossing a street when he was hit by either a pickup truck or an SUV. Authorities believe witness information may lead to finding the driver. The UIC student who was previously reported missing says actually she was not. Shayla Ahmad surfaced yesterday and reportedly made contact with police. Family members had said they had not heard from Ahmad for 2 weeks. The Bulls are in D.C. tonight to take on the Wizards. The Bulls are 9-26 on the season after Wednesday's loss to Minnesota. Zach LaVine came off the bench that game but will start tonight after an ankle injury. This news report is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Great news! There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Geico can help you get great coverage at a great price, and it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save. AM 560 News Time is 7:04. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
The world is a dangerous place. Often, it's a very ugly place, and you come here to try to help make sense of it all. We give you the latest news, help you understand what it means and why it's important. But there are bigger questions you need answered about life and death, faith and hope. And that's where our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life, comes in. When you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions, give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com.
What a year. Your home improvement to-do list still isn't to done. But hey, at least you still have time to get the Ford vehicle you've always wanted. Just get to the final days of our holiday sales event. Stop by your local Ford dealer today. It's where you'll find our best offers of the season on Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. So, see you sometime between now and January 2nd. Ford, built for the holidays. And now for a limited time, you can bring home a new F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month per $1,000 finance, regardless of down payment, is available on 18 model year F-150, excludes Raptor. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stocked by 1/2/19. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and complete details.
Hugs at the arrival gate.
Hey, I missed you so much.
Seeing your best bud for the first time in a long time. Family and friends around the table. At Lincoln, we know the holidays are filled with moments like these, when we realize that the greatest wish of all is one that brings us together. In that spirit, we invite you into our home during the Lincoln Wishlist event, where not coincidentally, we're making wishes come true with exceptional offers on the Lincoln family of luxury vehicles. The Lincoln Continental, the MKZ, the MKC, the new Nautilus, and the iconic Navigator. The Lincoln Wishlist event, because wishes really do come true at your Lincoln dealer.
If meat and bread are the backbone of a sub, then Mike's Way is the heart and soul. Lettuce and tomatoes, onions and spices, all drizzled in the juice. That's the difference. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
At 7:06 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
In Beach Park, Lewis Avenue is closed southbound 33rd to Wadsworth Road due to a fire. Northbound lanes are open. A tree down on the north side on Kedzie and Pratt. CTA Red Line has residual delays after there was a sick passenger at 35th Street Station. Edens, Kennedy, looking good right now. The Eisenhower has no significant delays. Stevenson inbound, a little tight Ashland to the right, and outbound Willow Springs Road to Tri-State, no more than a 1 or 2 minute delay in either direction. On Ryan, it's tight Roosevelt to the Burn Circle, 16 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford looking good. No problems to report right now on the tollways. No problems to report in northwest Indiana. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's Steve Williams.
Today, cloudy, breezy, and cooler. Flurries late this afternoon, the high 42. A few flurries this evening, then cloudy and cold tonight, low 25. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies. Daytime high tomorrow at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 7:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Chicago's Morning Answer. Eric Cohn and Joe Kaiser filling in today for Dan and Amy. Be a part of the program with us this morning by giving us a call at 312-642-5600, or you can text DA to 64636. Could the new year bring new taxes for those who live in Illinois? It's certainly a possibility. From our Illinois Policy Institute colleague, Austin Berg. J.B. Pritzker will be the new governor of Illinois come January 2019, and Rahm Emanuel will remain mayor of Chicago until at least May of 2019. As part of that overlap, Illinoisans may see a hike in the gas tax, according to reporting from the Chicago Sun-Times. Quote, topping Emanuel's legislative wish list is a transportation funding bill, possibly bankrolled by an increase in the gasoline tax that's needed to pay for the backlog of capital projects at the CTA and Metra. The state last passed a capital bill in 2009 when it appropriated $31 billion for infrastructure projects. Illinoisans already pay some of the highest gas taxes in the country. Could they be looking at more? To get some insight on this, we're joined now by Alan Skillicorn, Illinois State Representative for the 66th District, East Dundee area. Alan, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. And it's no secret that the politicians in Springfield want to raise your taxes with this massive tax hike.
So do you see this not only as a likelihood of coming up, do you see it as a likelihood of passing?
Well, we're making such a big outrage. I wonder if we can kill it for the time being. But there are politicians on both sides of the aisle that are openly talking about and selling a tax hike on our gasoline.
Alan, it's interesting. So Illinois politicians go after all these different revenue sources, whether it's, people always complain about property taxes, but there's also all these consumption-based taxes. Why do you think gas tax is the one they're going after? Because like you said, it's pretty easy to create this outrage about it, and it's very regressive in nature, obviously.
Well, and it is regressive, but it's also due to the fact that the market works. So just, 2-3 years ago, gasoline was almost double the price it is today. But because of some of the federal policies, the gas price has just dropped. Oil prices have dropped. So now you're actually seeing in the suburbs, you're seeing areas where you're seeing just under $2 a gallon for gasoline, which is great news. But that really means that the actual gas is selling for $1.50. And it's all the taxes that topped onto it. Now, the politicians, they think that they can be like the Grinches who stole Christmas here and raise taxes while the prices are low, and maybe no one will notice.
So I have two thoughts on that. First of all, I think one of the reasons that they keep coming back to this is, one, the taxes on gasoline are obscured. If you look at the receipt that you get when you fill up at the pump, it does not clearly delineate how much how much is going federal, state, local government, city of Chicago, if you live in the city of Chicago. It's obscured purposefully to keep people from knowing exactly how much they're paying. And two, the demand for gasoline is somewhat inelastic. If you have to drive places, you have to drive places, and you need gas to do it. So it's something that they can heap on people really without much choice in the matter, right?
Oh, exactly. That's the way it is. People don't see all the fees. I mean, so there is motor fuel tax. There is Illinois tax. And then Illinois, adds storage fee tax and a few other things, but they actually add on a percentage tax on top of the gas price and the tax. So you're literally paying a tax on the tax when you buy a gallon of gasoline.
Can you give our listeners a little bit of the makeup of the new General Assembly when you go in? How are you able to, or how do you plan to stand in the way of a gas tax hike, but not just a gas tax hike? I mean, any other tax hike that might come up, or any other piece of legislation that's bad for taxpayers when Republicans are in the super minority and reformers are an even smaller group than that.
Yeah, I mean, I will be the kind of the lone voice of dissent. I mean, in the past, it was myself and Jeannie Ives that got to stand up and talk about these things. And obviously, Gina's going to be leaving us. She's being replaced by another Republican, but, you cannot just replace Jeannie Ives. But there's going to be a couple of us that are going to have to talk about these issues, bring light to it, and literally just work hard. I mean, we're going to have to find out all these bad bills and expose this. And then once exposed, sometimes these bills go away. Like, I really think if the outrage builds over this gas tax, it might go away for the time being. But what does concern me is both the Democrats and Republicans selling it. And I fear they're going to try to push this through in the lame duck. There are dozens of legislators that got beat in the election, that are retiring, that are getting these sweet promotions to be part of the Pritzker, team, and they're going to be leaving, and they're unaccountable. They can vote on anything. There's no reason to vote for a tax hike before the new legislature is sworn in. That's what I'm trying to really stop, because that's what I'm afraid is going to happen, because Pritzker is buying votes from Republicans to get this through. And if we don't stop this here, they can say that they blame Republicans on the tax hike.
So when you say lame,
Democrats need to own this 100%.
When you say lame duck, though, I mean that could happen soon then, because the new General Assembly is coming in just a few weeks. So people need to be watching this today, tomorrow, in the near future.
Absolutely. So the General Assembly is coming back Monday, January 7th, and then Tuesday, January 8th. And that's the lame duck. I mean, literally, new people are going to get sworn in on the 9th. This is just the last minute try to squeeze it. And that's exactly why me and a few other people around the state are trying to organize rallies on those days. So the big one's going to be on Monday, January 7th at the state capitol. We're going to be doing a Yellow Jacket rally, because those people in Paris, they won. They got their gas taxes repealed. So we're just going to take that momentum. It's a global momentum. We're going to take that, and we're going to tell legislators, don't raise their gas taxes. If we need, we'll do another one on the 8th. And we're just going to try to stop this in the lame duck and make these politicians accountable for a change.
So this is being sold as necessary for a capital bill. And as I noted in the story that I read at the beginning of the segment here, we haven't had a capital bill in a while. In your opinion, does Illinois need a capital bill? And if so, how should we pay for it?
Well, don't forget, the federal government is talking about doing a capital bill. There's one thing the Democrats in the House agree with President Trump, is they want infrastructure spending. It would behoove us. It would be logical for us to wait and see what that's going to develop for Illinois. We don't want to put ourselves in a position where we raise taxes on our people, and then the federal government goes, well, you guys already sold the bonds. You guys already started the process. Why would we step in and interfere, basically? It would be logical to wait for the federal government to do this, because that's the one thing that the White House and the Pelosi Democrats agree on, is that they want infrastructure spending. Let's wait on that. But also, I have heard politicians talk about, we haven't raised gas taxes in decades. Well, that's not exactly true, because we have the flat tax and also the percentage tax on our gasoline. And remember, 2 years ago when gasoline was $3.50 and higher a gallon, that percentage tax was raking in the money. And it's not really truthful to say that we haven't kept up with inflation, because as the gas prices raise, and give you an idea, back in 1990 the gas was much cheaper than it is today. So these percentage-based taxes that are tacked on to our gas tax, they actually bring in more money as gas taxes go up. So the idea that it hasn't kept up with inflation is just not true. And we need to call out the politicians that are selling this argument.
It's terrifying, too, because, I mean, if you're an Illinois driver, it's something you've heard in the campaign season is also the vehicle miles tax that was bandied about by J.B. Pritzker. So Illinois drivers could be hit by this, not only this, but if the vehicle miles tax becomes a reality once Pritzker is in office, that's a lot to pay for driving on Illinois roads.
Yeah, could listeners imagine having a vehicle tracker installed in your car by the state I wouldn't want that. I don't think your listeners want that. That is absolutely scary, and we need to stop both of these. We have to look at the spend side of this. It isn't about taking more money from average working people. It's about how do we use government more efficiently and how do we spend less of other people's money.
So you were part of the last General Assembly. You are going to be sworn in again, returning to Springfield as part of this new General Assembly. Other than the gas tax here, what else is on your radar for these coming 2 years? What do you think is coming down the pike that we should be aware of, our listeners should be aware of?
Well, it's all about spending. It's all about taxes. We got to point out all these silly programs. I mean, right now, pensions are soaring out of control. Medicaid is soaring out of control. And, Governor Pritzker is promising billions in more spending. That's not the way it should be. Illinois has a declining population. We have to watch out because we're going to tax ourselves, into bankruptcy. So we have to watch out for that. We have to call out the spending. We have to call out the tax schemes, and we also have to call out the things that are going on that drive up prices to hire people, drive up our real estate prices, drive up the cost to live in Illinois. We need to bend the cost side down. And that's something I'm prepared to do, and I'll be a vocal person on the floor calling out these bad policies.
Yeah, absolutely. That our colleagues at the Illinois Policy Institute did an estimate on what the cost of Pritzker's spending promises would be and found somewhere in the realm of $13 billion to $18 billion was the nature of his promises. And even these estimates are probably conservative in some sense because some of it's just hard to put numbers on at this point in time. Alan, before we let you go, give the details of that rally one more time.
Yeah, so on Monday morning, January 7th, we're going to be doing, I think we're gathering at, 10, 11 o'clock. But I'm going to be speaking at 11:30. Jeannie Ives is going to be speaking just after me. And then we're going to be walking into session. And the beauty of this is that you're going to have hundreds of people in the state capitol building. And this is going to be exactly when all the politicians are walking into the chamber to vote to raise your taxes. And you have hundreds of people there in the politicians' faces. That's going to be great things. So in the Capitol building, 11 o'clock, 11:30-ish, we're going to have people there, and we're going to be in politicians' faces.
He is State Representative Alan Skillicorn, East Indy, Illinois 66th District. Alan, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Great being on.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie capsules contain 100% vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind. And it is undeniably one of the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. You might ask, how can over 10 servings of 31 fruits and vegetables fit into 6 vegetarian capsules? Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water, some a little higher, some a little lower. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to take out the water and air, leaving only whole food, which maintains 99.9% of its original nutritional value. Along with diet and exercise, Mother Nature provides fruits and vegetables to help us maintain good health. Make sense? To order, go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Brian Duncan, co-founder of Signature Bank. Born and raised in Chicagoland, my partners and I knew this city needed a locally owned business bank. As fellow entrepreneurs, we know the challenges facing businesses, and we are invested in our customers' success. We are here to build mutually beneficial, long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We look forward to helping our customers reach their goals every day, and we are here to see them succeed. At Signature Bank, you work directly with decision makers who understand your business and can deliver on their promises.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Buffett's mentor, Benjamin Graham, said, "The essence of investment management is the management of risk, not returns." Hi, this is Joe Lopresti, president of Arlington Capital Management. I'm here to explain how we help manage our clients' exposure to risk. We're the creators of our proprietary proactive asset allocation strategy, known as PAS. It is designed to analyze important market trends and alert us to potential changes in the market. But that's only part of what I believe makes Arlington Capital Management unique. It's the care and personalized service we provide our clients that really defines us. We understand how important your financial goals are to you and your family, and we never take that responsibility lightly. It all starts by understanding the things that are most important to you. It's part of the Arlington Capital Management difference. To experience it for yourself, schedule your complimentary consultation by calling 855-471-5796. That's 855-471-5796, or visit arlington-capital.com.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. If you're a small business owner or you make the marketing or advertising decisions for a business, then listen up. Once again, our annual Food for the Poor campaign is underway to raise money for children suffering from poverty in the Caribbean and Latin America. We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide food and clean water to several thousand children in Haiti this Christmas season. And here's how your business can be a big part of this. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor. Just make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air right here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you. That's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. To take advantage of this deal, just call Ann Jeanette at 847-472-8951. Again, that's 847-472-8951.
AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Be part of the program. Give us a call at 312-642-5600, or you can text us at 64636 to be part of the program. State Representative Alan Skillicorn had mentioned some of the people joining Pritzker administration coming from the legislature. Certainly true. Story right now at the State Journal Register's website. New appointments to head up the Departments of Revenue and Agriculture here in Illinois. Department of Agriculture is going to be led by John Sullivan, former Democratic state senator from Rushville. And lest you think that it is only former Democrat members of the legislature that are going to be joining the Pritzker administration, Dave Harris will serve as the director of the Illinois Department of Revenue. Of course, Dave Harris, a former Republican, well, I guess still current. He's part of this lame duck group.
Now, yeah.
Republican state representative, famously broke with Governor Rauner in 2017 to raise your income taxes and end the state's 2-year budget impasse.
Yeah, a Republican from the Arlington Heights area, forever state representative, been around forever. Said, I read an interview with him in the Daily Herald just recently where he said that the thing he was most proud of as a state rep was ending the budget impasse, which I also read that as...
It's a nice euphemism.
...is raising income taxes on Illinoisans. That's what I read it. He chided Republicans who didn't go along with raising the income tax. Not surprising that J.B. Pritzker took care of David Harris.
Yeah, not surprising at all to see, once again, this endless circle of people. It's the same people all the time. I know Dan has discussed this on this program and on the Illinois Rising program, which airs on the station on the weekends. The closed network of Chicago is a closed network of Illinois entirely, where you keep getting the same people. Another perfect example of this, J.B. Pritzker's debate coach, debate opponent for practicing for the debates with Bruce Rauner, former Governor Jim Edgar, also a part of the advisory panels that are going to be advising Governor Pritzker, former Governor Jim Edgar, Republican, nominally speaking Republican.
That's why I think people can't look at Illinois politics solely as Republican versus Democrat. You got to look at it kind of like insiders versus outsiders, because David Harris is a Republican, was in the state legislature for a long time, wasn't a friend to taxpayers, wasn't, if you're a conservative, he's not on your side, he's not a small government guy, and he clearly his interest is staying in state government and profiting off state government. And there are a lot of people in Springfield, Republican or Democrat, whose interest is in profiting off state government and being part of this closed network, this group that sticks together as kind of boys club of forever people. They're just there forever.
Yeah, it's a permanent employment program for a lot of these
Yeah.
people who, go down to Springfield. They're, even some of the people who are defended as, it harkens back to just a much better time. People like Judy Barr Topinka goes and starts in the legislature and is state treasurer and then is state controller. These people who have never done anything outside of politics in their entire lives and are going to continue to subsist at the cost of rank and file Illinoisans who are going to pay their salary and pay their health benefits and pay their pension from here to the end of eternity.
That's the differentiating factor between Illinois and other Midwestern states is our state government. We were talking a little bit about yesterday with migration numbers about why Illinois is an outlier when a state like Indiana or Wisconsin has the same weather and everything. But, what are we doing differently? Well, one thing is Illinois state government, in large part, is a jobs program for a lot of people. It works to serve interests that profit off state government, where other state governments don't necessarily have that or have that culture to the degree that we have it.
Yeah. As I said yesterday about the public education system in Illinois, particularly in Chicago, that's a system designed for not the benefit of the students who are supposed to be educated by it, but for the benefit of the adults who run the system. It's the same thing with Illinois state government generally. It is not designed for the benefit of rank and file Illinoisans who are supposed to be served by this government. It's designed for the benefit of the people in the government itself and no one else. And that's not the way that it's supposed to be. It's not the way that our founding fathers intended. But you know what? It is the way that Illinois government has been fixed, for lack of a better way to put it, to serve the interests of only that certain group of people. Coming up, now at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Jonathan Greenberg, who is with the Haym Salomon Center, about Syrian policy, as he would say, to the extent that we even have one. Can we make any sense of it? We're going to find out with Jonathan Greenberg after the break. Call us at 312-642-5600 or text us at 64636 to be a part of the program with us today. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Now we go into the newsroom with Perry Williams.
Good morning. It's 42 degrees and cloudy in Chicago at 7:30 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Perry Williams. A wrongful death suit is being filed on behalf of the family of a boy who died after he was injured at a children's gym. 7-year-old Brad Doherty of Glen Ellen was injured at the My Gym Children's Fitness Center in Wheaton in September and died several days later. The suit alleges the gym failed to provide proper supervision when Brady was riding a zip line and fell. The family is seeking unspecified damages. 3 candidates for Chicago mayor are being bumped off the ballot. The Chicago Board of Elections says the candidates were Conrine Hikes-Clark, Richard Mayers, and Sandra Mallory. The first 2 were knocked off because they didn't meet the minimum requirement for signatures, and the latter was because of incorrectly submitted petitions. That shrinks the ballot from 21 to 18 candidates. In sports news, the Bears on the road Sunday to close out the regular season at Minnesota. Bears head coach Matt Nagy says the possibility of playing the Vikings 2 weeks in a row won't affect the game plan.
If we do that, then we're not doing everything we can to win, and so we're going to go about this thing the right way. And
Chicago has clinched the NFC North at 11-4 and can still earn the 2 seed with a win and a Rams loss to the 49ers. The Vikings hold the NFC 6 seed at 8-6-1. Northwestern football is in San Diego for Monday's bowl game against Utah. The 22nd-ranked Wildcats clash with the number 17 Utes in the Holiday Bowl. This news report is sponsored by Jersey Mike's Subs. The sub above difference is daily, not shredded last night or baked yesterday afternoon. Good ingredients prepped fresh every day because that's what daily means. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. AM 560 news time is 7:32. How bad is traffic? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Dennis Prager can always expect one thing from the left.
He feels that marriage equality is bad for straight couples. I've never said that in my life. You know how often things are made up about me by people on the left? Always. That's how often. That is the reason that they can be at peace with what they believe, because they make up things that they oppose.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Dennis Prager here, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand with Israel tour, a tour through the land of Israel in December 2019. Come with me to get firsthand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. Walk the ancient temple steps, sail on the Sea of Galilee, and so many more unforgettable moments. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your opportunity. With expert guides and important lectures at key sites, we'll be together in the comfort and safety of luxurious accommodations the whole time. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose.
Purchase the travel experience of a lifetime at 560theanswer.com/Israel. And be sure to choose AM 560 when you register. That's 560theanswer.com/Israel.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
Oh, no colds, no flu, lots of energy, just overall well-being. It's just if I stop taking it, I see the difference. I would never stop with these. I would keep them on hand always.
Well, I got more energy for sure. I don't feel the same if I don't take this every day. I think it's improved my life greatly because I was feeling real sluggish before, sluggish and tired. I had like this brain fog. It's all gone now. I've been taking this stuff, and I feel like I have the energy of an 18-year-old with the looks of a 30-year-old, and I'm 50. It's crazy. This stuff is crazy. I love it.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
At 7:34 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Traffic is fairly light right now on the expressways and tollways. A little bit of congestion on the inbound ride approaching downtown Chicago, but at the moment, it's no more than a brief tap of brakes. Inbound Stevenson, we've seen a little bit of sluggish traffic approaching the Rhine. Right now, Stevenson is at its base travel time, 34 minutes either way between 355 and Lakeshore Drive. Edens is cleared. Kennedy, Eisenhower, both free of any significant delays. I-57, Bishop Ford looking good. Lakeshore Drive is fine. No problems to report at the Tri-State, Adams Tollway, Reagan Tollway, with Veterans Memorial. I-80 is wide open. 80-94 delay free. Same goes for the Indiana Toll Road and I-65. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's Steve Williams.
Breezy for today, clouds and cooler. Couple of flurries late this afternoon, the high 42. A few flurries this evening, otherwise clouds and cold tonight, low 25. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy and a high at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 8 o'clock. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer continues on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, filling in today for Dan and Amy. President Trump has announced that he's withdrawing American troops from Syria, from the present but somewhat limited presence that American troops have had there for a number of years now. This is generally in fulfillment with campaign promises that he made. It certainly is an announcement that has caused a lot of consternation and a lot of disagreement, with a lot of people apparently losing their minds, as we discussed yesterday on the program. The reaction people have to whatever Donald Trump does because Donald Trump does it seems to recalibrate a lot of people's opinions to the point where even longtime foe of the idea of American imperialism, Noam Chomsky, is in favor of keeping troops in Syria, mostly because of how much he dislikes Donald Trump.
It completely flips political ideologies on their head, and the partisan nature takes over for everything.
But lost in this conversation to a great extent, at least in my opinion, is whether or not this is a good idea, whether or not it's advisable.
Is the actual conversation.
Is the actual conversation people should be having about this decision, whether or not it's campaign promise fulfillment or what actually it means, is it a good idea? What is American policy in Syria? What has it been, and what should it be going forward? And to help us make sense of that, we're joined now by Jonathan Greenberg, who is Senior Vice President of the Chaim Solomon Center and a foreign policy expert. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric. Hi, Joe.
So, simple question up front is, we've heard a lot of disagreement about the wisdom of this policy of withdrawing troops. What are your thoughts on the announcement from President Trump that we're going to remove the American presence from Syria?
Yeah, so I think that so everything is terrible there, and I think that you kind of have to zoom out and ask yourself, what's the U.S. interest there? What were we doing there in the first place, and what is it that we can actually accomplish? And I think when you look at those two questions, it's not unreasonable that the president decided that it was best that we pull out. The civil war has been going on since 2011. We have 6 million internally displaced Syrians, 5 million externally. So 5 million Syrians have fled the country, the overwhelming majority of them heading over to Europe and destabilizing our European allies. But that's already happened. That cat's already out of the bag. There are no good guys for us to support in the civil war itself. The work that we were doing to fight ISIS largely has been accomplished, although I think there's still more to be done there. So, the question really is, what are we trying to accomplish? And I think the president looked at it and decided there was nothing really that we were trying to accomplish. I think it's a mistake because I think there are things that we could be doing there, but we'd have to actually decide to do those things and then commit the resources to do them, and I don't see any willingness on the part of the American people to do that. So if we're not going to do those things, leaving makes some sense.
Something I want to ask, piggybacking on what you just said there, is there doesn't seem to be a willingness amongst the American people to do those things. And this is where we've known each other for a while. I am generally not in favor of these kinds of foreign policy adventurism, is what I view it as. So I want to be inclined to say that this is a good decision. I also recognize that nothing is free of costs. But what I think would help the process a lot is if there were a deliberative attempt to grapple with what we're doing there, which has not happened in Congress. There is no declaration of war from Congress. There has not really been much conversation in Congress. Even when President Obama tried to punt the question to Congress, saying, I can't take action without congressional approval, when they refused to act on it, he just went ahead and do it anyway. So I think a lot of, in my opinion, it's been living off of this problem that the American people, to the extent that they're not just shocked that we have troops in Syria, feel like it has just been this tiresome ongoing process in the Middle East that they have not had much of a voice in, and Congress doesn't seem to want to deal with it all.
Yeah, I think that's entirely true. I think that reflects a broader cultural problem that Americans have, that we're not having serious policy conversations, that we're either not equipped to have them or that we choose not to have them. But on this stuff, I think the legacy of the Iraq War really has been a disaster for the rest of our policy in the region, because there are much larger, much more significant to American interests areas of policy that we should have been dealing more forcefully with, especially with Iran and now with Syria. And because we made, I think, a mistake largely in the Iraq War, the American public just doesn't have an appetite to deal with these things the way that we need to deal with them. So we hurt ourselves doing that. And I'm critical of several presidents in a row, not just the Obama administration was a disaster for Syria and for our Syrian policy, but you have to go back several presidents to look at the mistakes that we've made in the Middle East. And you and I have talked about this. I think largely our problem is one of what I call cognitive egocentrism, which is a childhood psychology term where basically what we do is we project our values onto other people who may or may not share them. So we pretend that the people of Syria have the same hierarchy of interests that we have in the West. And that's not necessarily true. And then we make our policy based on those assumptions, and they're incorrect assumptions. The people who are making our policy don't have any idea what the Middle East is like, what the people are like, what their values are. And therefore, we misjudge reactions to everything that we do.
Do you think so? That's a really interesting point because, yeah, Americans don't have an appetite for this kind of, as Eric called it, forward adventurism. Do you think Trump's decision to withdraw and also his attitudes toward foreign policy, like during the campaign season and into his presidency, are largely a reflection of the moods of the country, or what do you think are the influencers behind that?
I think that the president listens to whoever's got his ear at the time, and right now I've seen a bunch of reports the last several days that that's Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, who is on foreign policy more aligned probably with where Eric is than where I am. I think that his instinct is to pull back. I think to pull us back in, America First is inherently, I don't like the word isolationism because that's not really what he's all about, but certainly focusing inward and not outward. The only problem with that is that the entire international order relies on American outward focus. And, when we pull back, it creates a vacuum, and that vacuum is going to be filled. So, I think that I think the president is – I think this is entirely consistent with where Trump is generally on policy, and I wish that weren't the case. But, again, I think that specifically to Syria, I'm not sure what the alternatives are. I know what I would prefer to see, but I'm not sure that there's any stomach among the American people for what I would prefer to see.
Well, so that's going to be my next question. And I will preface it by saying that, going back to the previous point that I made, that I think there has been, from the people who believe that there are positive things we can be doing in Syria, I think there has been the lack of an argument made for what those things could be. So if you have the possibility of rallying the American people behind an idea of here's why we're there, here's what we can accomplish, here's what we want to do, I don't think that argument is being made because we continue to exist on basically an authorization for use of military force and ceding power to the executive that takes it out of the hands of the representatives of the people. So, Jonathan Greenberg, tell me, what do you think we can accomplish and what do you think the policy should be?
Right. So first of all, I reserve the right to get in the Wayback Machine and go back to 2011 and do everything differently than the Obama administration did. But if I can't do that, I think there are a couple of interests that we have, right? And so you have to ask, what are the U.S. interests? The first one is controlling Russian and Iranian interference in the region, especially Russian interference. Russia has had a naval base in Syria since the 70s. But up until 2013, I don't think there was any military presence there. They were using it for civilian shipping. But as of 2013, there's a Russian military presence again in Syria, which means there's a Russian naval base in the Mediterranean. That's a real problem, and it's something that the Obama administration allowed to happen. Russia had almost completely pulled out of the Middle East. Now they're back. Iranian influence also in Syria. Iran essentially controls the capitals now of Lebanon and Syria, and they're trying to control the capital of Yemen. I don't need to explain to you guys that the Bab el-Mandeb and the Strait of Hormuz, the two biggest choke points in world maritime travel, are those two choke points, and Iran wants to sit astride both of them. They also have a naval base in Djibouti, which is on the other side of the Bab el-Mandeb. So controlling Russian and Iranian hegemony in the region, I think, are both very important to U.S. interests. Another thing is, like I said earlier, stopping the flow of refugees out of Syria and into our allies in Europe, where they're destabilizing everything. Look at what's going on in Germany with Syrian refugees in Germany. They've completely destabilized some of our most important allies in the world. Now, so what I would like to have done a year ago, and I think we could still do, keep all of those people in country. The goal should be to give people refuge in the country in which they live, to make it safe for them to stay there. We could have established no-fly zones and safe zones on the ground and made it safe for refugees to stay in Syria. We chose not to do that. And we're going to be dealing with the repercussions of a destabilized Europe for the next couple centuries. And that's one simple thing that we could have done to keep refugees in country. So those are our interests. And I think that a policy that protects refugees in country and a policy that says we're going to confront Russian and Iranian hegemony would have been very wise. But we've chosen to go in the opposite direction. I think you guys, you already see the repercussions of this. Just since the announcement that Trump made, the Assad regime is being readmitted to the Arab League. You've got Syrian planes landing in Tunisia for the first time in years. You have the United Arab Emirates reopening its embassy in Damascus, all in the last few days. So this murderous, awful, terrible regime is going to be rehabilitated now because we've decided to pull out.
What are your biggest fears with that, beyond just it being rehabilitated? I mean, what does that look like down the road?
Oh, every dictator in the world is going to understand that it's open season on their own people, and that they can partner with the worst regimes in the world and get away with it because we're not going to do anything. We're not going to take it seriously. Had we acted more firmly in 2011, obviously this wouldn't be a problem. And I think it's really important for people to understand that the reason we didn't do anything in 2011 is we had already started engaging with Iran in what turned out to be an awful deal on their nuclear program, and that was more important to us than a functioning Syria. And the Obama administration made a very specific choice that we were going to negotiate with Iran and not upset Iran, and we were going to feed Syria to the dogs. And I think that will be a mark of shame for the entire Obama foreign policy establishment. And the fact that they're all on Twitter pontificating about this stuff, and Susan Rice and Samantha Power and all these former Obama administration people pontificating about Syria is really just gross.
Well, the good news for you, Jonathan, is that apparently a lot of these people also believe that their Twitter shaming of President Trump caused him to jump in the DeLorean and travel back in time to be able to get over to Iraq and visit the troops there. So maybe there's the possibility we can do that. We don't know. We'll have to find out. He is Jonathan Greenberg, Senior Vice President at the Chaim Solomon Center. Jonathan, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Imagine doing one thing that gives you an entirely different perspective about your place in the world. Think it would be worth it? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher, inviting you to join me for a 10-day Stand With Israel tour through the land of Israel in December of 2019. Come with me to get firsthand insight into Israel's fascinating past and promising future. We'll learn about the geopolitical, economic, and spiritual dynamics of one of the most fascinating places on earth. And you'll share experiences that will change how you view the world. Walk the ancient temple steps, touch the Western Wall, sail on the Sea of Galilee, pray on the Mount of Beatitudes. The list goes on. Return home inspired, renewed, and empowered. If you've ever dreamed of seeing Israel, this is your chance. Join me for a life-changing adventure to give you a renewed sense of purpose. The 10-day Stand With Israel Tour, December 2019.
Purchase your travel experience at 560theanswer.com/Israel. Be sure to choose AM 560 when you register. That's 560theanswer.com/Israel.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Lots of people would have told you to abort that baby. You didn't do that. I know that was hard. I want you to know that no matter what, I know that you always did the best you knew how to do, and look how it turned out. Those are the touching words Oprah Winfrey used to say goodbye to her mother, who passed away on Thanksgiving Day this year. Look how it turned out indeed. Vernita Lee's daughter is now a billionaire, instantly identified the world over by the mere utterance of her first name. Oprah may not preach what her mom practiced, but thankfully more Americans are choosing Vernita Lee's example over her daughter's. In the last decade, abortions in the United States have declined 25%, according to the CDC. Even as secular humanism has poisoned so many American institutions, sacred and civic, prayer warriors, Planned Parenthood defectors, and the pregnancy centers who tend to families in crisis are winning hearts and minds. As we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, we should also celebrate that the culture of life is beating back cultural Marxism.
Tasty Catering invites you to come together this holiday season and celebrate with great food and great company.
Since 1989, Tasty Catering has been planning memorable holiday office parties all over Chicagoland and bringing your team together this year in the spirit of the season.
Their delicious holiday menu at tastycatering.com features all the amazing appetizers and entrees, savory side dishes, and decadent desserts that you'll need for the ideal holiday office party.
From elegant plated dinners to casual company buffets and festive cocktail hours.
Stop by their Elk Grove Village Kitchen and meet their award-winning catering family and sample some of their new and classic holiday menu dishes.
The experienced holiday events team is ready to take you step by step through the planning process, simply and stress-free.
Don't delay. Call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 or view the holiday menu online at tastycatering.com.
That's 847-593-2000. tastycatering.com. Holidays. Gather, eat, and enjoy together.
Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your IRS problem is their day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand. If you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know. The credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Be part of the program, 312-642-5600, or text us at 64636 to share what you think. I'm going to float a semi-baseless prediction here, Joe. So we're just talking about President Trump, for good or ill, fulfilling what was ostensibly a campaign promise to bring troops home out of Syria. He's also talking about drawing down forces in Afghanistan. We see the shutdown, which is primarily predicated on funding for the wall. That's his major battle that he's fighting now. We've seen him fulfill other campaign promises. Got a tax bill passed. Tried to repeal Obamacare. It didn't work out too well, but the attempt there was made. Deregulation, judges, for good or ill, again, depending on your opinion, he has done a good job, fairly good job of fulfilling the things he promised to do. And the reason I think that he is while many of the experts would look at the shutdown and say this is ill-advised, especially the idea of owning the shutdown the way he already pledged to before it happened, is not advisable. The reason I think that he is going to the mattresses on this is I'm not convinced he's going to run for re-election.
So that makes sense for a normal person. Based on what you just outlined, I fulfilled all my.
You're being generous by calling me a normal person, and I appreciate it.
No, I mean, if Trump was a normal person, I'm not calling you.
Oh, okay.
Don't. I'm not calling you a normal person.
Okay, good.
Don't
I got worried for a minute there.
Don't jump to conclusions. If somebody said I fulfilled all my campaign promises, and obviously it's very taxing. It should be very taxing on him. What's been going on? Yeah, it's very taxing on us as American people. If you watch the news, it's exhausting for a lot of people. If he fulfilled all his campaign promises, if I were him, I'd be like, nah, I don't need this. I'm a billionaire. I'm not going to.
I do think that he's laying the groundwork for at least the possibility that he doesn't run for re-election, because and to an extent, while I think there is merit to some of what the Mueller probe is looking into. Undoubtedly, this is a lot more than he ever signed up to deal with, and I think you can also make the argument that I don't know that he ever expected he was actually going to win. And electorally, not only the defeat that he was handed in the midterm elections, but the fact that he won the presidency by ostensibly pulling an inside straight, by winning by a few tens of thousands of votes in a few counties and a few states, is going to be hard to replicate, even with our reputation for re-electing incumbent presidents.
I think it's very, very possible he's setting up the option to not run for re-election. And I think that's kind of smart, really. To have the option. We just saw this with Governor Bruce Rauner, who set himself up to have that too when his re-election chances were looking great.
Somewhat ineptly, if we may.
It didn't really work out for him. I don't think he really went through the process and knew how to do it. But
I don't think he thought it through, which then again, you can say that about most of the administration over the last 4 years.
Yeah, I don't think he really thought the whole governorship through. But with Trump, you hit on a good point, is I don't know how much he really expected to win. I'm sure he obviously tried to win, and he's a competitive guy. Yeah. He wanted to win. I don't think he really thought about governing too far.
He's a realist. I mean, I think he's a realist in that sense that, look, everybody was literally saying that was like, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. You can have that simultaneous belief of that, I know what the expectations and the odds are. I still believe I'm going to win, but, I accept the possibility I might not.
I long thought that the whole campaign, I mean, we've heard of Trump steaks, Trump vodka, Trump Monopoly, all these different things. I long thought it was a running campaign to then come out with Trump cheese graters down the road so they could have a commercial called Make America Great Again, GRATE. And I thought he was going to come out
there? I see it.
Yeah, it's playing words. Yeah. I thought he was going to come out with Trump cheese graters like a few years down the road, and I'm still not convinced
the possibility is still open.
Yeah, I don't think that wasn't not the plan.
It's still a possibility there. And, look, as I've tried to remind all of the incredibly enthusiastic impeachment people who think that they're going to get Trump impeached and removed from office, if that were to actually happen, and it's not going to go through the Senate, it doesn't magically make Hillary Clinton president. It makes Mike Pence president. Right. And, I think there's a lot of people out there that, not a big problem with all that. I wasn't an enormous Mike Pence fan, but sure, fine. I can deal with that.
And I don't think if you're a Democrat or liberal, you're not going to like that anymore necessarily. Yeah. It might be less of a headache. It might make cable news more tolerable. It might make your Twitter feed more tolerable, but on a policy front, it's
the irony there being that, it would be interesting to watch the same people who are losing their mind over Trump because they say it, but just because it's Trump, lose their mind in the exact same way over Mike Pence and really expose that it's not just Trump. Trump is a part of it, but it's not just him. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to talk to Bryce Hill from the Illinois Policy Institute about Illinois' out-migration crisis, and we could talk to you about it, too. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, or text us at 64636. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, in for Dan and Amy. Now into the newsroom with Perry Williams.
It's day 7 of the partial government shutdown. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Is Nancy Pelosi's speakership worth leaving the border unprotected? That's the discussion that we wish people would be having.
Incoming White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney wants people to blame Democrats, but a Reuters Ipsos poll shows more Americans blame President Trump, who tweeted this morning will close the southern border entirely if obstructionist Democrats don't give him wall funding. But Congressman Jim McGovern says
Democrats will step up to the plate, act like professionals, and do the responsible thing.
The shutdown may stretch into next week when Democrats take control of the House. We're learning more about the boy who got sick and died in Border Patrol custody Christmas Eve. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the 8-year-old Guatemalan boy was suffering from the flu. He's the second migrant child to die in federal custody, prompting Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen to head to El Paso in Arizona. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders told reporters Customs and Border Protection does its best to take care of migrants coming into the country.
Many cases, they show up extremely dehydrated, without food, and they're seeing a doctor for the very first time in their lives, both adults and children.
Nielsen has called the deaths deeply concerning and heartbreaking. Dave.
Rachel, suspected cop killer still being hunted in California. He's an illegal immigrant.
We will find him. We will arrest him.
and we will bring him to justice.
Stanislaus County Sheriff Adam Christensen, the man's wanted for shooting a Newman officer early Wednesday at a traffic stop. People in the Midwest digging out from a nasty storm.
I've been shoveling, and now I'm scraping ice.
It's snarled travel from where he is in Minnesota to Kansas and New Mexico. Heavy rain in the south has flood warnings up from Mississippi to the Carolinas. America's oldest man has died. Richard Overton was 112, also the oldest World War II veteran, and he drank whiskey since he was 18 and loved cigars.
It has a good taste for me. I don't inhale it. I just smoke it.
Overton died of pneumonia in Texas. This is Fox News.
Good morning. It's 41 degrees and cloudy in Chicago at 8:02 on AM 560 The Answer, WIND Chicago. I'm Perry Williams. A carjacking victim was reportedly run over by his own vehicle on the north side yesterday. Police say the man had parked his car in the Old Town neighborhood last night and was loading his wife and child into it when someone entered and tried to drive away. He was apparently run over during the ensuing confrontation. Reports indicate the victim's condition at Northwestern University Medical Center is stable. A man dressed as a package delivery postal worker is allegedly responsible for a double shooting on the far south side. Police say the gunman shot a 27-year-old man and a 23-year-old woman after knocking on the door of a residence and saying he had a package for the man Thursday afternoon in the city's Roseland section. Both victims were reportedly taken to Advocate Christ Hospital in serious condition. Chicago's Christmas tree recycling program is starting on January 5th. People can take their trees to one of 25 Chicago Park District locations up until January 19th. For a full list of locations, visit cityofchicago.org. In sports news, Patrick Kane recorded a hat trick as the Blackhawks blasted the Wild 5-2 last night at the UC. Hawks goalie Colin Delia, who kicked aside 46 of 48 shots, says he was locked in.
I think in the first period, when you just see so many shots, it's really easy, I think, as a goalie to be mentally focused and dialed in when you're seeing so much rubber in the first. Tough when you don't see a lot of shots.
The Hawks have won 4 of their last 5 games. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox News Network. Here's Lillian Wu.
From the Fox Business Network, stocks on Wall Street looking to open higher after the late session turnaround yesterday, with the Dow finishing up 260 points. Overseas, stocks in the green with the exception of Japan's Nikkei. Sears facing a crucial deadline today, 4 p.m., for potential buyers to bid for the bankrupt company's assets. Sears wants someone to buy about 500 of its stores and the Kenmore appliance brand to keep Sears and Kmart open for business. Right now, there's only one public bidder, a hedge fund controlled by Sears chairman Eddie Lampert, and a clash over cannabis as a U.S. retailer makes a hostile takeover bid. Green Growth Brands making a bid for Canadian pot producer Afria. The Green Growth chief executive saying they've learned there's a real need and demand for seasoned and accomplished management in the industry. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Lillian Wu.
AM 560 News Time is 8:04. Where are the cars this morning? We'll have the answer in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
The world is a dangerous place. Often, it's a very ugly place, and you come here to try to help make sense of it all. We give you the latest news, help you understand what it means and why it's important. But there are bigger questions you need answered about life and death, faith and hope. And that's where our sister station, AM 1160, Hope for Your Life, comes in. When you're looking for answers to life's biggest questions, give them a listen at AM 1160 or online at 1160hope.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
What a year. Your home improvement to-do list still isn't done. But hey, at least you still have time to get the Ford vehicle you've always wanted. Just get to the final days of our holiday sales event. Stop by your local Ford dealer today. It's where you'll find our best offers of the season on Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. So, see you sometime between now and January 2nd. Ford, built for the holidays. And now for a limited time, you can bring home a new F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $13.89 per month per $1,000 finance, regardless of down payment, is available on 18 model year F-150, excludes Raptor. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 1/2/19. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and complete details.
At 8:06 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
Southbound 53. Traffic is stop and go between Northwest Highway and Kirchhoff. There's a crash in that area. Traffic is moving well on the northbound side. See a little bit of a delay now on the inbound Eisenhower from Demon to the Burns Circle. It's 31 minutes from 390 to downtown. 18 minutes from Manheim. Outbound fine, 29 minutes to 390. And on the right, a little tight. Roosevelt to the Circle. That's just about a 1-minute delay. The Edens is clear. No problems to report on the Kennedy. Stevenson is fine for now. I-57, Fisher Ford looking good. Same goes for Lakeshore Drive. No significant issues to report on the tollways. And Northwest Indiana is fine as well. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
More Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's Steve Williams.
Today, cloudy, breezy, and cooler. Flurries late this afternoon, the high 42. A few flurries this evening, then cloudy and cold tonight, low 25. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies. Daytime high tomorrow at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 8:30. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. Chicago's Morning Answer. Eric Cohn and Joe Kaiser filling in today for Dan and Amy. Be a part of the program with us at 312-642-5600 or text us at 64636 to be a part of the program today. So Illinois, as we talked about with State Representative Alan Skillicorn, could be facing a load of new taxes. It's already one of the most expensive states that you can live in. There's a lot to say about Chicago, a lot to say about Illinois. I grew up downstate. I've lived in the central part of the state. I've lived in Chicago as well. And there's some great parts to this state, but a lot of people, because of the burdens they face, are deciding to head for the exits. They continue to do so at a pace that is unabated. The problem continues to worsen. And to get a sense of the gravity of this problem, just how bad it is, what it means for people who are still here going forward, we're joined now by Bryce Hill, who is a research analyst at the Illinois Policy Institute. Thanks for joining us, Bryce. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
So how serious is the problem? I know recent census data is out. What did the census data show, and what does it mean?
So, yeah, recent census data is out, and it basically shows that in the year since the permanent income tax hike, so July 2017 through July 2018, Illinois continued to lose population, making it the fifth straight year. and it saw its biggest population loss ever. So we lost 45,000 residents in total. That's second most in the country, behind only New York. And the primary reason for this is Illinoisans fleeing for other states. So we've lost one Illinoisan every 4.5 minutes for the past year, meaning that nearly 115,000 Illinoisans have chosen states other than the land of Lincoln for their homes. And this is a trend that just keeps getting worse and worse, and is going to be even more important as our population ages and birth rates are nowhere near where they used to be. So outmigration is going to continue to drive population loss as long as we have poor public policy in the state.
And Bryce, who is leaving? Because I think there's an assumption always that will just exist that the biggest group leaving is retirees going to states like Florida and Arizona. And people are going to Florida and Arizona, but who specifically is leaving Illinois?
Yeah, so that's a big misconception. The primary driver for domestic outmigration isn't retirees. For Illinoisans, it's prime working age individuals, so that's people between 25 and 54. These are the people that are most likely to have families and be looking to plant down some roots, some permanent roots for the future. So we're actually losing a very highly educated and vital part of the workforce. It's not just retirees moving to Florida or Arizona for the weather. It's people moving because they're looking for job opportunities and they haven't been able to find them.
And this is just amplifying the problem because these are, the people who are upwardly mobile. They are the future taxpayers, the people who hopefully are going to be the entrepreneurial spirit of the state, who are going to create businesses here. So it's public policy, bad public policy, is what is informing people's decision to leave before it gets any worse for them, right?
Yeah. So when we look at the IRS data, it basically shows that for the last decade, the main reason why people have been leaving the state, over 59% of the people have left the state because of the state's poor labor market. So that basically goes to say that if it weren't for the state's labor market, if the state just performed like the average state, we wouldn't have seen population decline any of the last 5 years. And Illinois would continue to be growing, and we wouldn't be at risk of losing, 1, potentially 2 congressional seats. We wouldn't have a higher unemployment rate than the rest of the nation. Wages wouldn't be growing slower here. It has a litany of factors that go into it. But it basically shows that the state's poor labor market, which is directly impacted by the state's poor public policies, that's the reason why people are leaving.
Have you looked into specifically at all what other states that have positive migration have done differently in the public policy front, or better yet, what Illinois could do differently on the public policy front that could turn the tide on migration?
Yeah, so when you look at the national trends, what you see is that for the past several years, and it was true again this year, residents have been going to states with more competitive tax environments. And so that's particularly important for the upcoming General Assembly and our new governor coming in, because over the past year, states with a progressive income tax lost 293,000 residents to other states. And meanwhile, states without any income tax gained 339,000 residents. So Americans are clearly choosing which tax environments they'd rather live in. And with the idea of a progressive income tax being one of the key pillars to Governor Pritzker's campaign, it's going to be particularly concerning given the fact that we keep losing residents year over year.
So, yeah, you just mentioned it there, what I was going to bring up for people who go to IllinoisPolicy.org. Not only do you and your colleague, Orphy Divounguy, have a piece on outmigration in Illinois, you also have another piece up about the progressive tax idea, calling it 2019's worst policy idea for Illinois' middle class, which goes to explain that progressive taxes, as much as they are sold as a tax on the wealthy, tend to creep down into the pockets of the middle class, which are a lot of the same people you're talking about who are already leaving, right?
That's definitely true. So, yeah, that piece looks at just the history of the progressive tax at the national level with the federal progressive tax. but also at the state level with many of our surrounding states who it's been said that we should try to look more like. And what we often see is that while when they're introduced, the rates may seem like they're low and that, maybe the rich are paying their quote-unquote fair share, what clearly happens is that over time those tax brackets get extended, and most of the time, in many cases, the lowest tax bracket that the low-income people in the state are paying today is higher than the tax rate that the high income were paying originally. So it almost always ends up being a tax hike on the vast majority of people who the tax affects. So it's just another reason why we shouldn't enact a progressive tax in Illinois. I mean, we already know how untrustworthy many Illinois politicians are. So to give them the power to say one thing and then do another, it just isn't a good idea. We should keep the constitutionally protected flat income tax.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. The question that Illinoisans need to ask themselves is, to what degree do you trust the state legislature that if they're going to make the promise to you that it's like this is going to be a tax on the wealthy, on the J.B. Pritzkers of Illinois and the Bruce Rowners of Illinois, it's not going to reach you? How much do you trust them, considering it was only last year, 2017, that there was a permanent income tax increase? So to what degree do you trust them?
Exactly, and there haven't been any rates given. And the most recent proposal before that raised taxes on everybody making more than $17,300. So congratulations, if you make more than that, you're rich.
I think you nailed it right there. Bryce Hill, he is a research analyst with the Illinois Policy Institute, illinoispolicy.org. Bryce, thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Hugs at the arrival gate.
Hey, I missed you so much.
Seeing your best bud for the first time in a long time. Family and friends around the table. At Lincoln, we know the holidays are filled with moments like these, when we realize that the greatest wish of all is one that brings us together. In that spirit, we invite you into our home during the Lincoln Wishlist event, where not coincidentally, we're making wishes come true with exceptional offers on the Lincoln family of luxury vehicles. The Lincoln Continental, the MKZ, the MKC, the new Nautilus, and the iconic Navigator. The Lincoln Wishlist event, because wishes really do come true at your Lincoln dealer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
It's actually really been helping my system and my lupus and my gastro problems. So I'm actually very happy with the product.
Acid reflux is pretty much under control. That's why I keep taking it.
I have noticed, I'm sleeping better since I started taking the Balance of Nature and all the other things I'm doing.
I can't believe how wonderful your product is. I listened to you guys on the radio for years and years and years, and I listened to all the testimonials. I was like, it's probably time to give it a try. And I've been just happy as could be ever since.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
Hello, Chicago. Christopher Crum, your host for Power Trading Radio here. And did you know that Online Trading Academy has got some comprehensive 3-hour workshops that'll teach you the common mistakes that traders and investors make? We'll show you how we time the markets with a great degree of accuracy, and we'll teach you how to apply a simple rule-based trading and investing strategy. Well, you can apply this to your trading account if you wanted to replace or supplement your income, or apply it to your long-term investments to build wealth over time, or do both. It's a $500 value. I'm giving it away to the next 5 callers absolutely free. Just call 888-984-8723. That's 888-984-8723. You know what else? I'm going to throw in a Active Investor Wealth Builder educational CD absolutely free with this too. It's a $99 value. So for the workshop and the CD, almost $600. Just call 888-984-8723. It's for the next 5 callers only. 888-984-8723. And don't forget to check us out on the web at tradingacademy.com.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And if you're a small business owner or you make the marketing or advertising decisions for a business, then listen up.
Once again, our annual Food for the Poor campaign is underway to raise money for children suffering from poverty in Haiti. We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide food and clean water to several thousand children this year.
And here's how your business can be a part of this. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor. Just make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and AM 560 will give you 40 60-second commercials to air here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you.
That's the best advertising deal in all of Chicago. To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Natowski at 847-472-8951. Again, that's 847-472-8951. One more time, 847-472-8951.
AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, in today for Dan and Amy. Join us by giving us a call at 312-642-5600 or text us at 64636 to be a part of the program. We've talked a lot. We talked with Bryce Hill in the last segment about the problems, the poor policy that is causing people to head for the exits. We talked with State Representative Alan Skillicorn about the possibility of a gas tax hike, about the possibility of a vehicle miles traveled tax, another way of extracting hard-earned money from Illinois taxpayers, and the possibility of a progressive tax with Bryce as well. So there's a lot of ideas that we clearly think should not be picked up by the legislature, but what should they? I commend to you an editorial from the Daily Herald. Begins with, "Dear state legislators, if there is one thing you accomplish in the next 2 years, let it be an answer to the runaway public pension mess that's been an albatross around Illinois' neck for a decade. The pension debt, one that compounds each year, is the root of many of Illinois' problems in retaining, let alone building its population and its business community." They go on to point out, one, that Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel is now advocating for the idea of amending the state constitution to allow us to deal with the pension problem, which is laudable, if not perhaps a little tardy in his recommending to do so as he is exiting the stage, not as he is entering or in the midst of grappling with these problems. And you also have them pointing out that some of just the insanities, one of the key points of why the pension problem is as insanely insane as it is, COLAs, and cost of living adjustments that pensioners get, when they were instituted, inflation was nearly 6%. Today, it is 2%. We are dealing with a system built in a different age that is not affordable today and that we need to tackle if we're going to get the state back on the right track.
That's not a real cost of living adjustment. We should just stop calling it a cost of living adjustment altogether.
It's a raise.
Because it's not. Yeah,
it's just an increase. It's an increase in the amount that you're paid out.
On Rahm, so better late than never. I welcome the seat to the table. He will do anything if it's politically calculating, and this is the easiest way to do it.
I said yesterday that the reality of dealing with politicians is the incentive game,
and
right?
This is the ultimate politician.
The wrong person doing the right thing because of the incentive structure there. And part of the incentive structure is not having to face re-election again.
And that's entirely what's going on, and Rahm's the wrong person doing the right thing. But even after Rahm came out and said that, and you have support growing, you have newspaper editorial boards saying the same thing, you have J.B. Pritzker saying it's not politically feasible. You have Rich Miller at CapVax saying it's not politically feasible.
And these become these kinds of frustratingly self-fulfilling prophecies by saying it's just not in the cards that we're going to deal with it.
Well, it's wrong. And not only is it cowardice, because one, it's like you're elected to do the easy things only. That's a wrong mentality.
That's how we got here.
And then two, it's getting to a point where it's not even accurate. You just had the mayor of one of the largest cities in the country saying that we need to do this.
Yeah.
You have newspaper editorial boards saying that we need to do this. If J.B. Pritzker got on board, if Democrats in the General Assembly got on board, if other people cheerleading state government got on board, all of a sudden we would see it happen. But they're protecting the people who profit off state government, who have a vested interest in state government. They're protecting those people, and they're just saying it's not politically feasible, we can't do it, blah, blah, blah. No, if you said that we could do it, then all of a sudden it becomes more politically feasible.
Yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. By saying that it can't be done, you're preventing in a large part the possibility of actually getting it done. We mentioned Stein's law of economics yesterday, which is things will continue until they cannot. And this is going to be the story of the pension problem in Illinois, that it will continue until one day it reaches the point where it cannot, where it is fully insolvent, where it does not have the money to pay out current beneficiaries in this Ponzi scheme, let alone the promises who are made to people somewhere down the road. And while the state does not have an avenue to declare bankruptcy, and even municipalities in the state do not have an avenue to declare bankruptcy, may I remind you of what happened in Detroit, where everybody involved in the process took a haircut. And if you think, because you had to, exactly, if the opportunity is there for somebody who is invested in the pension system now, who has a vested interest in the outcome of it staying solvent, of their retirement being protected, may I advise you to get in there and deal with it now and start talking about concessions you're willing to make this system work, not only for you, but work for people in the future. Because if you don't, you're probably at the end of the day going to end up taking an even bigger hit, because you will forfeited your negotiating position in this whole mess.
What's not feasible is continuing the path we're on, as the reasons you just outlined. And it's frustrating to hear the calls that this is not politically feasible, so we can't do it. But at the same time, like you said yesterday and today, Eric, politicians will do the wrong politicians will do the right thing if enough pressure is on them. And I think people like J.B. Pritzker and like a lot of people in the General Assembly are politically motivated above all else. And with a lot of pressure put on them, they still can do the right thing.
Yeah, as Dan Proft says about J.B. Pritzker, he wants to wear the sash, right? He wants the honor of being, accomplishing something, being the governor of this state. He does not, I imagine, want the dishonor of being unceremoniously drummed out of office by the next person to run against him, like we saw with Bruce Rauner. So it would be in his interest, one would think, in a normal situation, for him to be advocating for real solutions to these problems that may not make anyone completely happy, but make everybody more happy than the current morass that we are dealing with in the state that is causing people to head for the exits. We want to know what you think. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, or tell us what you think by texting us, 64636. That's text us at 64636. Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser, filling in today on Chicago's Morning Answer for Dan and Amy. Right now, we go into the newsroom with Perry Williams.
Good morning. It's 40 degrees and cloudy in Chicago at 8:30 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Perry Williams. The Cook County Treasurer's Office is aiming to help residents find out if their property tax bills have been properly returned. To help homeowners with mail delivery issues, the website cookcountytreasurer.com now shows when tax bills have been returned by the U.S. Postal Service. Treasurer Maria Pappas says she's trying to help property owners avoid facing interest charges for late payments, or worse, having their properties go up for sale for delinquent taxes. Illinois is about to send its first transgender inmate to a women's prison. Lawyers for 27-year-old Dion Strawberry Hampton yesterday said the state approved the transfer that would move Hampton from a men's prison to a women's facility. Hampton's legal team has been asking for the transfer for years and even filed a lawsuit to make it happen. There's no word when Hampton will be sent to the women's prison in Lincoln. Someone who bought a lotto ticket in Kane County is $1 million richer. The Illinois Lottery yesterday said the Shell station and the small community of Gilberts in Kane County sold a ticket that matched all 5 numbers in Tuesday's Powerball drawing. And the Bears and Vikings will meet with potential big stakes on the line for both teams in Minneapolis on Sunday. Bears offensive lineman Charles Leno Jr. says he won't mind playing the Vikes 2 weeks in a row.
I'll take it one game at a time. I'm playing the Minnesota Vikings this week, and if I have to play them next week, I'll play them that week. But I'm not looking forward to what the scenarios may be.
The Bears can clinch the 2nd seed in the NFC with a win and a Rams loss to the 49ers. This report is sponsored by Jersey Mike's Subs. The sub above difference is substantial. After all, the Giant got its name for a reason. It ain't little. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above. AM 560 news time is 8:32. Here's traffic with Jim Telemonte.
Dennis Prager says we have reason to worry for our democracy.
This indictment, he may have paid off or asked his lawyer to pay off people and then violated campaign finance law. I am afraid for my country. What we are seeing here is exactly what happens in the third world, where powers use their government for political ends.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
At 8:34 from the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
Southbound 53, traffic is stop and go from Palatine Road to Kirchhoff. Things should start to loosen up here a bit. There was a crash. It has now cleared at Kirchhoff. We're still seeing delays starting at Palatine Road. The northbound side of 53 is looking good. The Edens Expressway is fine, so is the Kennedy, inbound Eisenhower. Traffic is slow from Demon to the Burns Circle. 31 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound Font at 29. Inbound Stevenson. Traffic's hitting the brakes around Ashland to the Ryan. Got a crash there. 2 right lanes blocked. 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Ryan. Got about a 3-minute delay from Canalport into the Circle. I-57, Bishop Ford looking good. No problems to report on the tollways. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center on AM 560 The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer comes your way next. Now your official Chicagoland weather forecast. Here's Steve Williams.
Breezy for today, clouds and cooler. Couple of flurries late this afternoon, the high 42. A few flurries this evening, otherwise clouds and cold tonight, low 25. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy and a high at 33. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Your next news update is at 9 o'clock. Continuous coverage of news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Saturdays at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. Give us a call, 312-642-5600, or text us at 64636 to be a part of the program. We're talking about Illinois' pension crisis, ongoing pension crisis. So let's go to the phones. We have Arlene on the northwest side. Good morning, Arlene.
Good morning. In regard to the pensions, my cousin worked for United for 18 years, retired, and then was told after a while he only was going to get half of the pension. So his pension was cut in half.
Yeah, thanks, Arlene, for the call. This is not uncommon at all in the private sector, because we've seen the private sector over years transition away from these defined benefit plans and into defined contribution plans, with
They're confronting the reality.
Yeah, right. They've been mugged by reality, but the difference between United or Ford or any of these other private entities which previously had pension plans and have moved to 401k plans or some other defined contribution plan is that they don't have the ability to, by law, continue to extract more from taxpayers, which is what has delayed the state of Illinois in confronting them. So, Arlene, you're totally right that, plenty of other people who have had pensions have taken a haircut because these are systems that fundamentally do not work. And by example, in Illinois, if you are your average person in the teacher's retirement system is going to retire at age 59, they are going to pay in about $154,000 over the course of their career. And over the course of their retirement, they're going to collect about $2.2 million. The amount that you would have to put in to get those kinds of returns in a 401k or private system, defined contribution system, is orders of magnitude greater than $154,000.
And you're talking about the average. There are some extreme examples in the state. The highest total earnings from the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, which is a lot of municipal employees across the state. Albin Pogorski, who was his former Fox River Water Reclamation District employee, who retired at 58 in the late 90s, from what I understand, moved out of state shortly thereafter, has received more than $3.5 million in his retirement since 1998. And in total, for 40 years of working in the water district, put in $93,000.
That's pretty good return.
Is that how your retirement works out there in the private sector?
Yeah. Ask yourself that. Ask yourself if you are getting the same kind of return that these people are, and the reason you're not is because you're paying for it. You're paying for their return, and you're paying for your contributions. Is that fair to you? And the answer is no, of course it's not.
And your contributions that you're paying for your retirement are less protected than the public sector ones, which are constitutionally protected.
Talked a lot about ways that government does not responsibly use taxpayer dollars. The public pension system, the ticking time bomb that it is, continuing to crowd out services that could be paid for by the property tax dollars you're paying. That's one example of it. But Joe, I have an actual story that makes me feel good here. It's not in our state, which is kind of necessitated by the fact that it's a story that makes me feel good.
It's not a story about a dog coming home.
It's not a story about a dog coming home, but the good news is I saw the 2-minute trailer for that movie, and I already know that it ends happily. So it's kind of like the Hallmark Christmas movies. I know they're going to get together. That's what I really want. Is I want like the Jordan Peele horror movie twist on like a Hallmark Christmas movie where it gets really dark at the end. I think that'd be fantastic.
Everything seems like it's going to set up like how you think it will, as like two attractive white people that are like lost in a weird setting, and they don't like each other at first, and they start to grow attached, and then all of a sudden just some dramatic twist where there's some killer that comes.
He's a lizard person.
Yeah. The Alex Jones version of the Hallmark Christmas movie.
I would really pay. I really would like to see the Alex Jones version of a Hallmark Christmas movie where it turns out they're actually lizard people. Joe, why are you not listening to me? Yeah, no, I'm down for that entirely. No, but I've got a story here that really does make me feel good. It's out of Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is one of the states that continues to grow. People continue to move to Texas. The University of Texas at Austin, and a group led by the Oakview Group, will build a world-class arena on campus that will be home to the Texas men and women's basketball games, graduations, concerts, and other events. It's expected to open in 2021. What is unique about this arena? $338 million venue is going to be constructed on land fully owned by the University of Texas, and it will not use any university or public money. This is uncommon these days, where billionaires who own sports franchises are incredibly successful in extorting local governments into paying for playgrounds for their toys. I grew up just across the river from St. Louis, where going back to the 90s, the city of St. Louis floated bonds to build an indoor arena with the idea of attracting a football team, an NFL football team, before there was any guarantee they were going to get one. And they were able to attract the Rams out of L.A. They came there. They were good for a very short period of time. Then they were very, very bad. No one cared. And they moved back to L.A., where they became very, very good again. And, here's the fun part of it. St. Louisans, they're still paying off that arena. They floated the idea of building a brand new open-air arena on the Mississippi River to try to keep the team there. And apparently disappointed that they had this team leave and didn't get a chance, an opportunity to waste money on a stadium for someone who could afford it on their own. They have now twice been going through the process of building a Major League Soccer arena. The second time, it looks like it's going to be successful. They're going to get it built. And of course, they're giving away tax concessions to incredibly wealthy people. A group that wants to bring a soccer team to St. Louis, led by the family that owns Enterprise, are going to get all these taxpayer concessions, which means taxpayers who probably couldn't care less about soccer are going to be paying for this arena.
Even if they did care about soccer, I mean, it's shocking how often this happens, where the story about UT Austin is the outlier, because you'd think there'd be more outrage over time about this, and I think there kind of is. I think this is starting to boil up, where more and more taxpayers in cities across the country aren't gonna take this anymore. I don't know if you saw the video of the woman in Phoenix who confronted the Phoenix Suns owner when there was an open forum about
oh my God, can we elect her president, or at least governor of Illinois? That woman is tremendous.
Yes, and I think down there that's a situation where the taxpayers just aren't accepting it. I mean, the Phoenix Suns are bad. They've been bad. But even beyond that, they realize that there's the economic impact that it's going to have to build a taxpayer-funded stadium is not going to outweigh the tax money that goes into it. And I think we're starting to see people reject this more and more. But in Illinois, we are still paying the bills for a lot of different stadiums, and we haven't gotten to the point yet where we're overwhelmingly rejecting the premise. DePaul, a private university, just had a publicly funded arena built a couple years ago. The Chicago White Sox guaranteed rate field is still being funded with public money. We have an entire board that oversees operations of sports stadiums. The Soldier Field renovations in the early 2000s were publicly funded. So we're footing the bill for a lot of arena construction and renovations in the state. In the future, I don't know if taxpayers will accept it as much.
Yeah, it's this. That is the most specious argument that you alluded to there, the idea that, well, this is going to be an economic boon to the city to have this sports franchise here. Let me give you what Michael Leeds, a sports economist at Temple University, said when asked to summarize the economic impact of having sports team. There is no impact. Quote, if every sports team in Chicago were to suddenly disappear, the impact on the Chicago economy would be a fraction of 1%. A baseball team has about the same impact on a community as a mid-sized department store. There just is not an economic argument for this.
But here's the thing. It plays at people's emotions because people have attachments to their teams.
Sure.
This is harder to do when the team is bad. Like, so, for example, the Phoenix Suns, bad basketball team.
Yeah.
It's harder to sell that, but it really shouldn't matter the performance of the team on the field or on the court. What should matter is obviously the issue at hand of forking over taxpayer money to a private interest, but you play with people's emotions. Like, you're a Yankees fan. If the Yankees were threatening to move without taxpayer money, a lot of Yankees fans would freak out. I'm a Cubs fan. Same thing would happen here. In the 1980s, when Jerry Reinsdorf threatened to move the White Sox to Florida unless it got taxpayer money, that argument plays. There are White Sox fans in the Illinois General Assembly. That argument has merit to it because there's an emotional impact. I just don't know if that'll always be the case. I think this UT Austin thing is a great example of what we might see in the future because taxpayers are going to reject that.
I hope so. And for the people who have often pushed back on me by saying, "Oh, there's the civic pride element in all of it," quantify it for me. Find a way to quantify it for me. When you can tell me the actual dollar value of civic pride and prove that to me, or at least demonstrate it to me in a logical and formulaic way, okay, then we will have that argument. But until then, it's just a bunch of nonsense. Let's go to Bob in Buffalo Grove. Bob, thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. With regard to your discussion on the dog movie that's coming out, it seems like every 25, 30 years they got to remake that movie. I remember in the early 60s there was a Disney movie with that premise. Then 25 years ago, Michael J. Fox and Sally Field supplied the voices for a movie called Homeward Bound. I think there were 3 dogs that were strays or whatever, or lost dogs. So it just seems like Hollywood just has to redo this thing every 25 years and touch on the heartstrings of dog lovers like myself.
Yeah. Bob, are you suggesting to me that Hollywood might be out of ideas?
Yes, definitely.
Thanks for the call, Bob.
No, he's definitely right. And I have a rule of thumb. I told you off air. I will not see any movie that stars a dog, a horse, or a whale because I know what the movie's going to be.
Emotionally manipulative.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not even a huge dog person, but yeah, the idea of somebody loses their dog, it's their best friend, all of that. Yeah, it's the deliberately emotionally manipulative Hollywood film. Look, if I feel some kind of emotion, which is difficult because I'm basically a robot at this point. I've been automated, as we suggested about politicians.
It's better than a human.
It's a better version of me. If I feel some kind of emotion because of that, naturally, that's fantastic. But the idea of these purposefully emotionally manipulative films, I agree with you. It's just it just kind of gives me the willies rather than this warm, uplifting feeling. But if you disagree, give us a call and tell me at 312-642-5600 or text us at 64636. Eric Cohen, Joe Kaiser, in today for Dan and Amy.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I thought I had a sinus headache for a few days, but I had a massive brain aneurysm, hemorrhage of the brain, and a stroke. And I was on my deathbed. I was on a respirator in a coma for 35 days. And 3 months later, I came home in a wheelchair. I had double vision. I had to learn to walk again, to speak again. 1 and 1 is 2, write the alphabet. If I went out and did a little something, I'd come home, I'd be in bed. Now I'm up by like 5:30 in the morning, and I go to the gym. I do shopping. I cook. I have energy all day. I mean, I feel great. Overall, my whole outlook, just feeling, my mental aspect, everything is better.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. Who would win a 3-mile bicycle race, an 11-year-old girl or last year's winner of the Tour de France? It all depends on the bicycle. It depends on their vehicle. Both on a 10-speed and the pro racer is going to win every time. But put the racer on a tricycle and the 11-year-old wins every time. You see, it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. When it comes to generating revenue, it's exactly the same. If you have a job or a small business, you are riding a tricycle. You can only go so fast. If you need to make up lost ground, it's not going to happen on a tricycle. No matter how fast you pedal, it's simply not going to win the race. Why do many people with no schooling and no advanced degree often become very wealthy? Simple. They choose to only ride 10 speeds. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss when it comes to putting people on a 10-speed. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500. Famous conservative quotes presented by Automated Systems.
Ronald Reagan wisely stated, "Of the 4 wars in my lifetime, not a single one of them came about because the U.S. was too strong."
Hey, manufacturing companies, I encourage you to call my friend Laz Coolchar from Automated Systems. Automated Systems is a software and systems integration company that specializes in companies that are required to meet FDA compliance requirements. Automated Systems will create a custom solution to make your production lines, facilities, and plants run more efficiently. Imagine less downtime, more speed, and fewer projects. From Fortune 500 to startup, ASI delivers solutions for your toughest automation challenges. For information, or I encourage you to talk to Laz at Automated Systems, call 844-HIRE-ASI or visit hireasi.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or online at hireasi.com.
Everyone's doing it, and everyone's making money at it, except you. You're losing business to your online competitors, and you just don't know how to get in the game. Where do you even go for the information on how to get started? You need Salem Surround. Give us a moment, and we'll offer you a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness, even if you have none. And we'll suggest methods that could dramatically increase your sales coming out of this season. We can design and implement all your online marketing under one roof, give you monthly reports on results, and instantly move your dollars to the most effective areas of your online advertising and sales. Social marketing, geofencing, web search enhancement, event targeting, and more. Now, there are no limitations on where you can reach customers with Salem Surround, increasing sales dramatically. Learn more. Go online to surroundchicago.com. That's surroundchicago.com. Salem Surround, connecting you with new customers.
Do your gums bleed? Have you been told that you have gum disease? Are you missing teeth? The doctors at Perio Care can help. This is Dr. Russell Sakala, and I am a periodontist. I specialize in the treatment of gum disease to save teeth and dental implants to replace missing teeth. Did you know that gum disease has been linked to a variety of other health problems, including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and increases the risk of premature birth? The good news is the doctors at Perio Care are specialists in the area of treating gum disease and the placement of dental implants. We treat the whole patient and use the most contemporary treatment options that best fit your condition. Our primary goal is to restore your dental health and replace missing teeth to maintain your general health. I'm a veteran and I support veterans. Perio Care offers a discount for those who have served. Perio Care, where a healthy smile means a healthy body. For a consultation, call 773-631-0344 or visit us at periocare.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Eric Owen, Joe Kaiser in today for Dan and Amy. We talked a little bit earlier about the Chicago mayoral race, maybe turning into a great Pandarathon. I don't know if you heard the idea floated by Bill Daley to rename the Dan Ryan Expressway to honor former President Barack Obama. Not to be outdone, former Chicago alderman, candidate for Chicago mayor, previous candidate for Cook County Board president, probably other things that I'm forgetting because I forced myself to forget about them. Bob Fioretti, not to be outdone, is holding a press conference this morning at Daley Plaza in Chicago with the idea that we should rename Daley Plaza for President Barack Obama.
It's a bold move.
The courage to rename previously named things. That's the kind of leadership Chicago needs.
You know what's
at this
interesting,
juncture.
especially interesting about that is one of Bob Fioretti's, and Bob Fioretti's not even a real candidate, really, but one of his opponents.
Is he a real boy?
One of his opponents, I'm not going to question that. One of his opponents in the race is related to the namesake of Daley Plaza.
Yeah. Yeah, that is somewhat entertaining. He's turning it around on Bill Daley, who's like, yeah, let's name it after. Let's take the Dan Ryan name away from the Dan Ryan and name it for Barack Obama. And yeah, okay, all right, Bill Daley, let's take your Daley stuff away.
What Bill Daley should do is find every namesake, even if it's not an actual direct namesake to his opponents. Find all of them. If there's like a Preckwinkle Inn or something, or like Mendoza Drive, find all of them in the state and propose renaming them for Barack Obama. Not even Barack Obama, whoever you want. Mike Ditka, Michael Jordan, whoever. Just find somebody to rename it after.
No, actually, considering the Chicago City Council did authorize changing the name of Congress Parkway to, is it Congress Parkway, or I don't even know, Congress, whatever it is. Congress in downtown for Ida B. Wells, meaning that there is now an intersection in Chicago of Wells and Wells. I want to piggyback off of that, and something that I got to experience having spent some of my time in Decatur, Illinois, where there are two main streets that intersect each other. I think we should just rename every street for Barack Obama.
That would work, yeah. Well, and then all the Daley buildings, all the government buildings, that's fine too. And then you can just rename the city too.
Yeah.
After the Netflix guy.
After the Netflix guy. Or, we should, it should be just a succession of campaign promises from each person who wants to be mayor that you have to submit a comprehensive proposal for renaming all of the things we have named things after here in Chicago for something new. And this goes to a conversation we had, too, about people's lack of a long arc of history, which is, look, we'll take nothing away from Barack Obama being the first African-American to be elected president of the United States. That's a great thing. But the idea that we should come up with these repeated ideas of memorializing him in different ways, it's just let's take a little bit of time, okay?
It's not even just him. I love the idea of renaming stuff, all these like symbolic gestures of renaming things. Like Javier Baez, who I adore, has a street named after him, I think in Pilsen, or Little Village.
Yeah.
Remember Rob Blagojevich made Ron Santo Day in 2003. They just naming all this stuff symbolically. I whatever. It's harmless, I guess, for Bob Fioretti or whoever else to go around and make these fruitless campaign promises, but it's also silly.
Yeah.
And it'd be cool if we had an actual conversation for Chicago in the mayoral race, but like we were saying earlier, it's all kind of pointless. Whatever.
We're going to get a continuation of everything that has made problems in Chicago anyway. So I guess why not be stupid about it in the process and have arguments over, like, the Dan Ryan family unhappy that they want to rename the Dan Ryan, and now we can have the Daley family unhappy that they want to rename Daley Plaza, and so on and so forth, as we avoid being serious adults about all of this, because it's Illinois and that's what we do.
It's all for fun anyway.
It's all, what does it really matter? Well, we want to give a big thank you to Dan and Amy for having us as fill-in hosts for the last 2 days. A big thank you to everybody here at 560 The Answer for working with us. We really enjoyed it.
If you take nothing else away from our insights, remember Alabama -14, Notre Dame +12.5.
There you go. Happy to give that advice to you, Joe. From you, Joe. I appreciate it.
Make you rich.
Eric Cohn, Joe Kaiser filling in today for Dan and Amy. Thanks for having us. Now we go into the newsroom with Perry Williams.